Deciding game. It'll be refereed by Bob Myers. Joining him is Leon Stickle, and the other linesman will be Ron Finn. And the goaltenders for this deciding game for the New York Islanders, 34-year-old Bill Smith, winner in both games at the Nassau Coliseum, Saturday and Sunday night. You know his playoff history. This will be his 126th Stanley Cup playoff game. While at the other end of the ice, the Washington Capitals are making a change. It'll be Pat Riggin, who played game one of the series, then yielded to Al Jensen. And Riggin comes back in tonight. His playoff goals against average at 2.89, while Bill Smith is in at a 2.96 in the series against the Caps. Brian Trottier centering for Clark Gillies and Mike Bossy. Pearson and Potvin on defense, and the Caps got the opening draw. McEwen and Langway on their defense, and Jarvis trying to clear it to the left wing where Duchesne was checked. Now picks it up and dumps it in. Bill Smith plays it around to the right wing boards for Bossy. He's checked by Duchesne. Pearson reaching for the puck, takes it back of the net. Up the left side to Gillies. Out to Trottier. Trottier shoots it in from center ice, right on target. Riggin making its first stop, and there's Langway back for it. The Islanders will do that all night long. Force Langway to play the puck. Gillies from the point shoots it wide to the Capitals goal, and over goes Duchesne. Failed to clear it out. Trottier went to center, one that hit Langway. And Langway up to Doug Jarvis. The Gould and Potvin stepped in front of him at center ice. Potvin wearing a bandage around the neck after blocking a shot on Sunday. Trottier went into forecheck, and the Caps start out on the right side. It's Gould, a long pass. Duchesne takes it off the boards and pokes it in. Kenny Morrill goes back on the Islander defense. He's teamed up with Boudelier at the moment. Up front, it's Wayne Sutter, Brent Sutter, and John Tonelli. Morrill just slapped it down the boards, and as Stevens goes back to touch up, we get an icing call against the Islanders. Able to pick up anything in the first minute or so of this game, Eddie?
Not really, Jiggs. Right from the beginning, though, Adams just ran into Ken Morrill. You're talking about some of the strategies, and you're right. They've been doing that now for 4 games, and this one they're doing the same thing. They want to try and wear down Rod Langway if they can. Of course, the Washington Capitals, when they get a chance like Adams did a moment ago after Ken Morrow had made a pass, Adams takes him out heavily into the boards. So they're going to inflict the punishment. Hopefully they'll just keep the sticks down, make it like the first game we saw here last Wednesday.
Now Morrow brings the puck to center and dumps it in wide. Riggin, who holds the stick in the left hand, came out and then let it go, and Dwayne Sutter is checked. Stevens moves it to the left wing, and the Caps just flip it out into center ice. Morrow is checked, and here's Carpenter coming in on a break. Carpenter shoots Smith, the glove save, and he holds on.
Look what I found, folks. Billy Smith with the glove in the perfect position. Carpenter on a 2-on-1 break. Let's fire with a tremendous blast. Right there, Ken Morrow gets trapped. Here comes Bobby Carpenter. The players behind stand on their feet. There's the shot. Look at the poof on the glove of Billy Smith. He never moved his glove. He didn't have to. He had it in the right position. Paul Boudelier puts the stick down. There's the shot. Smith has got it. First good opportunity goes to the Washington Capitals' Bobby Carpenter, who had a tremendous opportunity, a big one in the last game, a penalty shot, and was beaten by Smith.
Now Stevens trying to move in on the left wing boards. The puck went to the corner and cleared out by Brent Sutter. It's going to go the length of the ice, and as Bloomquist gets back, the Islanders are called for having iced it.
Got to do something for the Islanders, Jiggs, who still maintains their belief that they can make a mistake, and Billy Smith is there to bail them out.
Greg Adams coming out for the Washington Caps into a conversation with Kelly Rudy at the Islander bench. Now Adams skates back by the bench. We'll see if that'll be an ongoing dialogue all night.
Things like that go on constantly in high-pressure hockey games.
Ben Gustafson comes to center ice between Gartner and Francis Getty for the Caps. The Islanders with Trottier centering for Bob Nystrom and Bob Bourne. Trottier on the draw with Gustafson. It went to the corner for Deneen. Ahead now to Nystrom. Breaks out with Bourne. 2-on-2. Nystrom backhands it in and around the defense. Chasing it is Murphy. Trying to get away from Nystrom, is checked at his own end, but then recovered in time to feed it to the left side. Francis Getty had it poked off his stick. Gartner dumps it into the Islander zone, and that's Johnson with it now. Around to Nystrom, off his stick. Beach lets it go, and it was way off the target. Chasing it is Bourne. He and Francis Getty tangle up in the corner. Gustafson trying to knock it loose. Johnson on top of him. Francis Getty and Bourne continue to bump one another. The puck comes back to Murphy. Lets it go. Smith makes the save, and the rebound is cleared by Kortko. Can't get it out, and Gartner's shot goes off the stick and wide of the net. Gartner with it again, back of the goal. Johnson chases him to the corner, and Kortko is there to clear it to Nystrom over in the boards. Can't get it out, and Gustafson shoots one wide. Racing it is Johnson. Up the left wing. Bourne tips it, but not out. Murphy plays it to the open wing, and out come the Islanders, led by Dineen. Gordy Dineen at center ice. Blows up the play and then dumps it in. Beach and Murphy go back on the Washington defense, and now a penalty is being called by Bob Myers. Some stick work going on the other side of the ice.
Francis Getty and Bob Nystrom are drawing attention from Myers, the referee. They're going to the penalty box. We're going to commercial with no score between the Islanders and the Capitals. We'll be right back.
Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. The technology behind it gives this driver engine protection he can depend on. And this driver. And this driver. And this driver. Mobil synthetic oil technology. There's no finer engine protection on Earth or anywhere else.
Lou Francis Getty in the penalty box along with Bob Nystrom. Roughing penalties. Is that what they handed out, or high sticking?
Slashing on Francis Getty and cross-checking on Nystrom. Called at the 2:45 mark.
Roughing with the stick. I'll get it right one way or another.
Roger Kortko has just gone to the Islander dressing room along with Jim Pickard, the equipment manager, so that's an indication of equipment problems. Nothing serious, we hope. Pat LaFontaine is at center ice for the Islanders. He has not had a shot on goal in this series, and of course missed the game Sunday night. That was game 4 in 5 nights. This is game 5 in 7 nights, and the Caps start out as the teams are at 5 aside. Langway at center. Trying to come in around Persson. Centered the puck to Lachlan. A backhander is blocked by Potvin. Lachlan digs it off the boards. Can't get it to the blue line. Now Christian sets up Langway, and his shot hit LaFontaine. Langway comes in from the line. Takes a shot that missed the target. McEwen covering up here at the right point is bumped by Caller, and Christian has it. Dave Christian fires it into the corner. Craig Lachlan is bumped by Potvin. Lachlan gets away from the check, gives it to McEwen. A shot off the body in front of the net and is cleared by Persson. Potvin takes over and dumps it down the ice. Langway reaching for it, made contact, so the Caps have to go back. Rod Langway up the middle of the ice. Lachlan couldn't knock it out of the air, and here's Morrow ditching it off to Potvin. Potvin, Bossy, and Trache into the Washington end of the ice, and Potvin was checked by Langway. Dumps it in on the delayed offside, and the Caps bring it out. Pass misses Carpenter here on the right wing. Morrow hustling back, and the Caps are called for having iced the puck. 3 minutes and 50 seconds gone in this first period.
Players trying to set up the flow of the game, Jiggs. Hard skating, hard hitting. That's the rule. That's what they're playing under. Bob Myers, referee tonight. Got his hand in the air right now, signaling that Al Arbor is not allowed to make another change as Washington make theirs. And Morrow. Strength every game. Getting his knee back in shape.
Now Mike Bossy over to talk to Bob Myers. Boudelier and Morrow on defense. Bossy and Trache up front for the Islanders. Stevens and Murphy on the Washington defense. And they have Jarvis and Carpenter as the forwards. Face off to the left of Reagan. The puck goes to the corner for Murphy. Murphy being watched by Trache. Murphy took a little time as Jarvis came back to join him. He starts out. Jarvis takes the pass, comes up the right side, and dumps it in. Chasing it is Morrow. Carpenter moves into forecheck. He was slowed up a little by Bossy, and Morrow passes it off to Trache at center ice. Fires a long shot off the stick of Murphy, and Reagan steers that for Scott Stevens. Stevens starts out. His pass went off Bossy's stick. Is picked up at center ice by Trache, and then it's knocked away from him, and Bill Smith slides it across for Boudelier, who came back. All Boudelier to Brian Trache. Now to Mike Bossy. Took it in his skates, kicks it in around Stevens, and the two of them go to the corner. Bossy couldn't get there in time. Stevens gives it to Murphy. And Gustafson on left wing. He and Gartner come over the line. The pass to Murphy, and he put it right into the skates of Gord Dineen. Dineen and Johnson together on the Islander defense. Teams are at 6 aside as Dineen comes over the line with a slap shot. Reagan the stick save. Nystrom for the rebound, was too well covered. Dineen at the point, couldn't pick it up, and Gartner breaks down right wing. Mike Gartner trying to cut inside Johnson, and he is checked by Dineen. Brent Sutter with it now, backhands it to Nystrom. Now Nystrom slows it up, gives it to Tonelli, comes over the line on left wing with a slap shot. Reagan got a piece of that, and the puck bounces off the glass. Out into the center ice zone, Persson gives chase. 5 minutes gone, a scoreless first period here at the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland, as Brent Sutter dumps it in wide of Pat Regan. Wayne Sutter bumping Langway as they go back. They rough up one another. The puck comes back to the point. Persson dumps it into the corner. Langway all over Dwayne Sutter. There will be a penalty against the Washington Capitol captain. As they tie it up in the corner, now they start to square off. And they're both going to go off. Referee Bob Myers handing out double penalties. There's a break in the action. The score from the Capitol Center is the Islanders nothing, the Capitals nothing.
That's my neighbor, Fred. Last week, he needed $50,000 for an important business deal. Got it like that. And Roger just added an extra room for the kids. Where did the money come from? Their homes. With a manufacturer's Hanover Trust home equity credit line, you can get up to $250,000 just by writing a check and use it any way you like. See what I mean?
For more information, call 1-800-MH-LOANS. Manufacturers Hanover. We realize your potential.
Rod Langway gets doted into 4 minutes. Dwayne Sutter. Langway has a penalty at this point. He and Sutter were at it pretty good in front of the net. Langway drew a delayed penalty here. Watch what happens as Langway now bumps Sutter along the boards. They finally get a stoppage of play. There's a penalty on Langway right now. Now, I guess... Gord Dineen lets one fly, then takes a pretty good hit. Scott Stevens coming out from his defense position, gambling a little bit, knocking Gord Dineen to the ice. But Dwayne Sutter has drawn 2 minutes. Rod Langway has 4.
Wayne Sutter for high sticking, Langway for elbowing and high sticking at the 5:33 mark. Washington with 3 shots on goal at this point of the game. The Islanders with 3 as well. Ryan Murray at the Washington bench, now Al Arbor at the Islander bench. Teams at 5 aside. Matt LaFontaine has come out with Bob Bourne, Paul Boudelier, and Ken Morrow. Jarvis will take the face-off for the Caps. Gould is their other forward. LaFontaine checked as Jarvis pulled it back, and there's Darren Veach with it behind the net. Veach and Murphy are the defense pair for the Caps. You've just joined us. There is no score. Veach carrying the puck into the center ice zone, played it to Murphy on right wing. Murphy shoots it in around the boards, and Smith leaves it for Morrow. Now to Bourne. Bourne stick handles into center ice, got away from Gustafson, who had just come out on a player change. Bourne cuts around, and the backhand shot is wide of Regan. Fontaine reaching for it, couldn't get a stick on it, and here are the Caps once more. Veach being watched by Bourne. Veach starts out on this right side. Fontaine is replaced by Brent Sutter, and Veach comes over the Islander line, lets a shot go off the stick of Paul Boudelier and up into the seats.
So many times you see it happen. It's almost like a wasted rush. It's almost as bad as an offside. Not quite, but close. Watching Darren Veach go down takes too much time. Waits, wants to slap it instead of letting go with a wrist shot. A good low wrist shot. Doesn't have to be hard, but if it's low on the net, it's going to make Billy Smith stop it. And chances are, from 20 feet like that, if it has anything at all on it, he's going to stop it. Maybe he can't handle the rebound. That gives the wingers a chance to start moving to the net. He may as well had an offside at the blue line. That's a wasted play for the Washington Capitals.
Now they have Haworth and Carpenter up front with Scott Stevens and Mike McEwen on defense. For the New York Islanders, it's Brent Sutter with Anders Kaller, Paul Boudelier, and Ken Morrow. Carpenter and Sutter dropped the sticks, and the puck came back to this right side, but McEwen couldn't get it away, and Boudelier takes it in deeper. Carpenter sticks with him. McEwen played it off Brent Sutter's skates. Out at center ice. This is Haworth coming over the line. Fires one that missed the net. Carpenter in the corner trying to set up Haworth back of the net. McEwen comes in off the point, and Boudelier feeds it up the wing for Brent Sutter. Sutter carries it over center ice, being chased by Haworth as they get to the blue line. Scott Stevens takes it back deeper for the Caps. Headed to McEwen. Now out to Carpenter. Runs into Morrow. Carpenter recovers his balance, and then Kaller was right on top of him. They pinned it on the boards momentarily, and Carpenter got it loose. Here's McEwen. Backhands it ahead to Carpenter on left wing. Is shot right on. Smith drops it off for Morrow. Eddie Morrow ahead to Brent Sutter. Drops it back for Morrow. Turns, trying to get away from Carpenter. Now gives it to Thomas Johnson. Johnson goes rink wide for Brent Sutter, and he dumps it in around the boards. 0-0. The score here at the Capitol Center. A little less than 13 minutes to play in the first period. Mike Gartner dumps the puck into the Islanders zone. In after it is Christian. Bumped by Persson as he fed it back in the net. Carpenter lost it on the boards, and Bossy drops it back for Persson. Now to Janssen. Into Stefan Persson. Persson to Janssen. Comes up the left side. The Islanders with a man advantage now as the first penalty has expired. Langway sitting out the second. Forechecking of Trache knocks the puck loose. He picks it up in the corner, gives it to Bossy at the side of the net. Tried to put it out in front, and that was blocked. Gillies jabs it loose. Bossy chasing it, and Christian beat him to it. So the Islanders regroup at center now. This is Persson over to Potvin. Potvin to Gillies, who knocked it out of the air, dropped it back to Potvin. Up to Bossy to Trache. Backs it over the line. Was not in control of the puck. No offside. The Islanders regrouping at center. Persson to Potvin. Now to Bossy. Bossy elects to shoot it in. Trache goes in after it on the right side as it got away from Riggin, but Stevens able to clear it, and that bounces off the left boards and down into the Islanders' zone. Bossy is the first man back. 1 minute, 5 seconds left in this power play for the Islanders. Potvin lugging it out. Comes over center ice and shoots it in wide of Riggin. Trache goes in after it. Slowed it up in time for Tonelli. Back to Persson. Lets the shot go, and it's up high and wide. So the Caps take over in the corner. Christian clearing it down the ice. And Bill Smith leaves it for Potvin. Al Arbor sending out Thomas Johnson, John Tonelli, and Brent Sutter at the moment as Potvin carries it to center ice. Shoots it around the boards. Riggin lets it go to the wing. Brent Sutter stepped in front of a check. Gets away from Stevens as well. Sutter being tangled up in the boards. In comes Tonelli. John Tonelli out of the far corner, trying to get it to the blue line. He's checked from behind by Stevens, and Stevens able to clear it out over the line. Johnson and Potvin moved it back and forth. Here's Johnson on the right side. He's across the line with a bullet that just went wide on the glove side. Mike Bossy can't dig it out of the corner boards. It comes back down to Potvin. Over to Johnson. Johnson centers to Bossy. He shoots Riggin, makes the save, and puts the right pad on it.
Best save of the hockey game, Jiggs. Riggin off Mike Bossy. The Islanders working the puck around. 3 seconds remaining in the power play. There's the pass. Thomas Johnson to Bossy. Bossy had a little trouble getting a hold of it. Then when he ripped it, Riggin got across the net very quickly. Got his right pad out and made a nice stop off and on rushing Mike Bossy.
Surprised that Pat Riggin is in the Washington goal tonight?
I'm not, and I am. I'm a little surprised because of Jensen's play has not been that bad, Jiggs. But you look at the goals that were scored. Flatley's goal, he had one leg in the air. He had his balance lost when the puck deflected off Scott Stevens' stick. The one that went between his legs when Brian Trache scored from the face-off. That's the kind of a thing that makes management want to make a change, I suppose. Out-of-town score at Quebec. It's 1-0. Quebec over Buffalo. A power play goal by Goulet. His 6th of the playoffs from Peter Stastny and John F. Sauvé at 2:17 of the first period. 1-0 Quebec.
Sabres haven't won in Quebec since 1982, and they have to win there tonight to win that series. Boudelier with a shot. Riggin up on the top of the face of the goal crease at least to make a dazzling save for the Capitals. There's a break in the action here at the Capitol Center. The Islanders nothing, the Washington Capitals nothing.
Now, direct from the future comes the Canon T70. The T70, sleeker to hold, simpler to handle. Controls are now touch button. Data now crystal clearly displayed. Film advance now built in. The Canon T70. Now you can capture computer-perfect pictures with the touch of a button. The Canon T70. Touch the future now.
Well, as I spoke, Buffalo scored a power play goal right behind Quebec. It's now tied 1-1. Perreault scored. That's also in the first period.
John Tonelli, Brent Sutter, and Dwayne Sutter. Dwayne Sutter pouncing on the puck in the Washington zone. Then he was checked, and Langway has cleared it to center. Morrow and Boudelier back on defense. Morrow off the boards to Tonelli. Up the right side. Dwayne Sutter pokes it in around Langway. And Dwayne Sutter gets knocked down, and the puck comes out on the left side. The Caps move to center, led by Carpenter. It comes over the line, working on Morrow. Can't cut around it, and Boudelier picks it up. All Boudelier to Tonelli, but off his skates, right to Brent Sutter. He's over the Washington line, fed it to right wing. Dwayne Sutter picks it up, centered to Tonelli. Off his skates into Dwayne Sutter, and his centering attempt was deflected. Picked up by Tonelli, turns and then shot it off Beach in front of the net. Greg Adams and Dwayne Sutter go to the corner together, and the puck is knocked loose around to the right wing for Howard. Alan Howard just flips it out into center ice where Gord Dineen knocks it down. Dineen sends Tonelli over the line on left wing. Tonelli trying to make the play off the boards. Got it into the high slot. Nystrom couldn't pick it up, and the Caps lose it at the blue line. It's held in by Tonelli. Into the corner to Nystrom. But Nystrom pulls it away from Langway. Centered off the stick of Kortko. Janssen at the blue line. Plays it around the boards. Picked up by Gustafson. He was able to get it to Darren Beach. Beach tries the left side for Francis Getty of the Caps, and Nystrom steps into him. Francis Getty sends Gustafson over the line. Winds up for a shot, and that missed the net. Comes bouncing off the left wing boards for Dineen. He takes a hit as he cleared the puck to center. Francis Getty running at everybody in a dark uniform again tonight. Here's Gartner starting down the right side. Over the Islander line, trying to slip through the defense. Fed it to Francis Getty, and he shoots it through the goal crease. It comes to the left wing for Bourne. Up come the Islanders, 3-on-2. Bourne sends Kortko across the line. Roger Kortko holding the puck. The pass is intercepted neatly by Gustafson. Now to Gartner. Gartner into the Islanders zone. The blazing shot ends up in the seats as he pulled the trigger on a high drive with 8.5 minutes left in the opening period.
Washington trying to open up the game a little, picking up the pace. It's hastening. Mike Gardner is a player that can pick the pace up in a hockey game. Outstanding right winger of the Washington Capitals. Led them in 5 different scoring categories through the regular season. He scored a goal in every game so far in the playoffs. In his 5th game, of course, he has 4 goals.
And he has led all of the shooters in the series with 19 shots on goal. Mike Bossy of the Islanders has had 14, leading them in that department. Face-off is just inside the New York Islander blue line. Bob Bourne out with Anders Kaller and Pat LaFontaine at the moment. LaFontaine played the puck back to Persson. To LaFontaine, now to Kaller. Bourne is replaced by Dwayne Sutter as Kaller comes over the line. Played it off Bloomquist. They go to the corner together. LaFontaine gets a stick on it. Trying to get around Christian. LaFontaine off balance. Gets it to Dwayne Sutter. Sutter goes in a little deeper. Put it out in front. That went right through the goal crease and is taken by Sampson of the Caps. Pass for Craig Laughlin didn't work, and here's Potvin. Eddie Potvin plays it rink wide. Kaller comes over center ice across the Washington line, but Dwayne Sutter got in ahead of the play, so it's offside. A break in the action. 8 minutes, 5 seconds left in the first period. There is no score.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. Bud Light. Hold this, will you?
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light!
Bud Light, because everything else is just a light.
Strike.
Pretty good opportunities at both ends of the ice, Jiggs. You can't really say that one team or the other, although the Islanders have had power play opportunity. Territorial edge. Can't say it could go either way right now.
No, it's anybody's hockey game, of course. Sampson at the line, trying to play it to Laughlin on the right side. Thomas Janssen picks it up. Couldn't get it out over the line. Murphy centering attempt is deflected and wide of the net as Sampson broke in. Bill Smith plays it around the boards. Kaller went for it, couldn't get there. Murphy drops it off in front. This is Sampson at the top of the face-off circle, and he plays it back of the net. Gord Dineen tries the right wing with a pass off the stick of Dwayne Sutter. And Beach works it over to Murphy at center. Larry Murphy being hounded by LaFontaine's checking. Now Beach backhands it into the Islander territory. Chasing it is Thomas Janssen. He and Dineen on defense. Trottier has come out to center for Kaller and Bossy. Kaller taking the pass to Trottier, who dumps it in. Backboard is Rod Langway. Plays it around the left wing boards, and Gaetan Duchesne comes over center ice. 3 Islanders back. Duchesne across the line. Fed it. Offside is the call as he went to feed it to Jarvis. And we'll get a face-off outside the blue line. Doug Jarvis, seldom beaten on a face-off, has to be conscious, I'm sure, of any time he's against Brian Trottier in his own end of the ice after what happened in game number 4.
Well, it was really not anything he could do, Jiggs. A lot of people said that Trottier won the draw. I thought that he won the draw. Trottier just stepped in behind him. One of the things that centermen, particularly defensive-minded centermen in your own end of the ice, have to be careful of is that you may win the draw, bring it behind you, but then your concentration has to go quickly to the player you're facing. You can't let him get his body in behind you, and that's exactly what happened. The puck went in behind him. Langway had a play at it, but the puck was bouncing like a football. Trottier got in behind Jarvis and golfed at the puck, putting it right between the pads of Al Jensen.
I think that's pretty good evidence that Jensen felt that his man had won the faceoff here. The Caps getting to a loose puck in the Islanders' zone, but Morrow able to cover up quickly. Now Trottier sends Gillies down the left side. Art Gillies pulls it away from McEwen. Plays it in around the corner boards, and Riggin out of the net dumps it to the opposite corner. Bossy taken out by Duchesne as the Islanders get it back to Morrow. Into the corner to Trottier. Langway all over top of him. Gaetan Duchesne battling for it now. Gillies steps in as well, sticks up, some pushing going on, but the puck has been frozen for a faceoff, and they'll drop it in the circle to the right. Pat Riggin. 6 minutes and 24 seconds remaining in the opening period at the Capitol Center. There is a break in the action. The Islanders nothing, the Capitals nothing.
Last time you changed planes in the Midwest, did it seem a bit like the Wild West? Well, next time, fly into an airport that feels like an airport and not like a stockyard. Fly Eastern to Kansas City. In Kansas City, you can stroll from one Eastern plane to another without being trampled and make connections to Seattle, San Diego, Tucson, Phoenix, or 11 other Western cities. So fly Eastern through Kansas City and break away from the herd.
Jethro, also known as Clark Gillies. No, not number 9 for the Islanders.
Brent Sutter is out with Dwayne Sutter and John Tonelli for the Islanders. Potvin and Pearson on the points. They battle for the puck here on the boards, and it comes up the right wing, controlled by Carpenter. Carpenter into the Islanders zone, made the play to Adams on left wing, and he shot it just wide off the left pad of Bill Smith. Here's Brent Sutter getting it back to Potvin, out to the right wing for Dwayne Sutter. And for Tonelli, comes over the line, works on Scott Stevens, makes the play to the open wing, and Haworth is back in time to clear that out of harm's way. Chasing it is Potvin. A little less than 6 minutes to go in the opening period. The Islanders have had the only power play of the period to this point. Pearson gives the puck to Tonelli at center. He steps across the line, and offside is the call against the Islanders. Wayne Sutter draws the attention of a couple of the Capitals. That's not all that unusual, is it?
No, he's trying to upset them, Jiggs. And, of course, if they don't know that by now, they're falling into another little trap that the Islanders can use to get the Washington Capitals thinking in another way. The one thing that Washington have to realize by now, with all of the games they've played against the Islanders, and this playoffs at this point, we'll bring you up to date on that. With the Capitals nothing, the Islanders nothing. 5:42 remaining in the first period. We'll be right back.
Good morning.
Hi.
Can I interest you in an ordinary gasoline?
I'll stick with Mobile Super Unleaded.
You need something to slow this thing down.
I'll stick with Mobile Super Unleaded.
I just saw the gas. The octane is so high.
Thank you.
This thing runs so good, I'm getting angry. I'm getting out. I'm getting car sick.
Well, we return to the action just as we get back from a face-off. A penalty to the Islanders' Gord Deneen as he upsets Lou Francis Getty. Mike Gardner down the right wing side. Take a look. There's Gardner. Fish pops it out in front. There's Gord Deneen upsetting, pulling the feet out from underneath Lou Francis Getty. A penalty, and Washington get a power play opportunity. Face-off in the Islanders' end of the ice.
A tripping call against Deneen. Washington, with the power play in this series, has scored 4 times on 24 opportunities. The Islanders started the game tonight with 3 power play goals on 14 chances. The scoreboard asking this crowd of over 18,000 for some noise. Well, they're getting it now as they line up for the face-off to the right of Bill Smith. To kill it off, Al Arbor has sent out Bob Bourne, Brian Trottier, Stephen Pearson, and Denny Potvin. Carpenter between Stevens and Gartner as the forwards. Murphy and McEwen on defense. The puck comes to the open wing. Over goes Bourne and is able to clear it, but not out. Stevens covering up at the point. Now Carpenter with a shot. It's blocked by Bourne, is sacrificed. Persson takes it in the corner and dumps it around behind the net. Chasing it is Carpenter. Potvin gets there as well. Scott Stevens trying to move it into Carpenter, and Potvin has cleared it out to center. Bill Smith knocked down in the goal crease, and there'll be some penalties. Smith and Gartner. Now Gartner being challenged by Bob Bourne.
Billy Smith is going to get the gate along with Mike Gardner, Jiggs. I didn't see it. The play was out at center ice. I didn't know how they got tangled up. Mike Gardner is not the kind of a player that tangles up with goaltenders. There's Smith hacking away at Gardner. Gardner hacks back. Smith takes a dive. They're both going to get penalties. You notice that the Islanders were not mad at Mike Gardner, or they did not show that they were mad. Normally, under certain circumstances, that being one of them, somebody from the Islanders would run right over the player, whoever it was. There's the hack by Gardner on Smith after Smith chopped his ankles. He gave it right back to him. You could see that the slash came more along the pads. Gardner is not of a vicious nature. Trying to show Smith that he's not going to take a hammering across the ankles. So they're both in the penalty box. We'll have to wait for whatever referee Myers is going to hand out as a penalty.
Mr. Myers just had a conversation with both captains, and now Rod Langway is going back to talk some more as Al Arbor looks up at the board. The replay was on there for a moment.
Are you kidding me?
Gardner is
typical. They're going to give Gardner a 5-minute penalty. I don't believe it. Go ahead, Jiggs. I'm getting excited again. It's your broadcast.
Major penalty against Gardner, a minor penalty on Bill Smith, and Mr. Murray will not be pleased.
I don't blame him.
Very mild reaction to begin with from Brian Murray. Bill Smith trying to get Gardner involved to take him off the ice with a power play would be my thinking to begin with, and now Gardner with the retaliation draws the major penalty, which is a little more than they perhaps expected.
Well, maybe they ought to show the replay up on the matrix board for the referee. Well, you know, there's all kinds of little games going on between the players. We talked about it with Kelly Rudy having a jawing match going on with Adams. That goes on constantly in a game such as this. Just unfortunate maybe that the official isn't in on it. Buffalo, a power play goal. His second power play goal by Perreault from Housley and Ruff in the first period. It's 2-1 now. Buffalo over Quebec. Well, I could see absolutely 2 minutes, but I don't understand a 5-minute major under the circumstances. Myers, I thought this was more than his first game in the league, and if he doesn't understand the two personalities involved, Rod Langway's trying to explain it to him.
We're going to get another look at it, folks.
Watch to the right of your screen. There's Smith chopping the ankles. There's Gardner. Now it's the dive by Smith. He's not hurt, of course, but he's doing that for a good reason. That's, of course, to make it look as severe. And the slash came across his pads, but Myers fell for it. Now,
when all of this is sorted out, Washington will continue with the power play for 1 minute and 40 seconds, barring any further penalties, since both Gartner and Smith are penalized. They'll come back to play the Islanders with the extra man. The Islanders with 4 men on the ice, including the goalkeeper. For the Caps, 5, including the goalkeeper. And those 5 are Carpenter, McEwen, Gustafson, and Murphy. The Islanders have set Stefan Persson and Denny Potvin out on defense with Brian Trottier as the forward.
Of course, the thing now that Washington have to be careful of, Jiggs, if they go anywhere near Smith, he's going to take another fall, and the referee's going to think that they've downed him again. And that's always the danger when we get into this kind of a situation. We saw it in the game 4 in the second period on Long Island.
Mind games, huh? Murphy holding the puck at the Islander line, being watched by Trottier as he comes to the right wing boards, then plays it across to McEwen, lets the shot go, Smith the save. Gustafson picks it out of the corner, back to McEwen. McEwen waits, gives it to Murphy, comes in off the right point, and his shot goes high, comes bouncing off the glass and away from McEwen. Former Islander goes back to pick it up at his own line, gives it to Murphy. Murphy comes over the Islander blue line, plays it across to Carpenter. Now to McEwen. McEwen lets the shot go, and that went up high and wide. Murphy comes in on the right wing boards, then pulls it back to the point. Murphy plays it across to McEwen, and that was deflected. McEwen with it now. Has to turn to get away from Pearson. Gives it to Murphy. Over to McEwen. McEwen in deeper. Plays it across to the side to Carpenter. Then right back to McEwen. He shoots and that missed the net. Will bounce off the boards and down the ice.
Excuse me, Jiggs. Playing for the other team, you can't allow yourself to miss the net in that situation. You need a rebound as bad as you do anything.
27 seconds left now in the Washington power play. Gustafson trying to work it back to the net. Morrow broke it up. Gustafson came out on the short side and got turned around. Here's Carpenter chasing it. Bobby Carpenter back to Larry Murphy. Over to Scott Stevens. Stevens played it to the side of the net. Smith makes the save off Gustafson and covers up and holds on. And now Smith is really yelling about Carpenter having been near him in the goal crease area.
Well, I've often said, I suppose if that's going to be part of the game, we're asking for a lot of trouble in a hockey game. There's Gustafson's tip shot. Smith gets a hold of it, grabs onto it. Paul Boudelier hammering away at Carpenter. He was trying to knock it out of the hands of Smith. Smith, of course, charges the referee wanting a penalty on Bobby Carpenter.
In 10 seconds' time, Dineen's penalty will have expired. And 20 seconds after that, a minor penalty against Bill Smith will have expired, and the Islanders will have a power play of 3 minutes duration, and again, barring any further penalties. The Washington Capitals have had 7 shots on goal. The Islanders have had 5. There is no score. Riggin has made outstanding saves off Mike Bossy and also off Paul Boudelier. Bill Smith's best save was off Bobby Carpenter early in this hockey game. Two teams taking a little time before lining up in the Islanders zone. It'll be Trottier against Christian for the faceoff as Leon Stickle gets ready to drop the puck. Trottier pulls it out in front of the net for Morrow. Eddie Morrow trying to get away from the forechecking of Gould. Does, and plays it across the line to Trottier. Ryan Trottier turns and then dumps it down into the Washington zone. Dineen is out of the box. And the Caps move into the center ice zone, led by Stevens. The teams are at 5 aside at the moment. Another 5 seconds of that situation, and Stevens backs into his own end of the ice. Now the Islander power play is underway as Bob Bourne was sprung. He had served the minor penalty against Bill Smith. The Caps come to the Islander line. Jarvis holding on to it. They try to rag it as much as they can, killing off the clock. This is Duchesne. Being watched by Tonelli. Duchesne plays it back into Scott Stevens, and he slams it down the ice. And the Islanders will start deep in their own zone with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left with a man advantage. No score in the first period. Potvin to Brent Sutter, then to Janssen. Thomas Janssen over center ice. Across the Washington line, holds the puck, plays it to the corner. Reagan started out of the net, then gave it to Langway. Langway plays it into the center ice zone off one of his teammates, and back for it is Janssen. Goes to the right side with a pass for Potvin. Back now to Janssen. The Islanders not rushing it on this power play. Up they come. Janssen makes the play to Potvin. Potvin at center. He likes to shoot it in, and it's cleared right back out again by Blomqvist. Exactly 2 minutes remaining in the major penalty against Mike Gartner. Janssen plays it to Brent Sutter at center. He's over the Washington line with a pass to Bossy. Tried to play it across the blue line, but it came out over. Janssen now to Potvin as the Islanders back into their own end and regroup. Janssen once more for the captain. He pulls it away from the check of Gould. Goes to the right side with a pass to Bossy, and he is offside.
Taking the puck across and his feet. The puck delayed a little bit, creating the offside. Tomorrow night, a phantom lurks in the dark. Eerie corridors of the Opera House. Watch out for Claude Rains as the Phantom of the Opera, Wednesday night at 9 on the $1 Million Movie. Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.
For the New York Islanders, as Brent Sutter goes back to the bench, Al Arbor has sent out Brian Trottier, Mike Bossy, and Clark Gillies. Potvin and Janssen on defense. Gustafson will take the faceoff for the Caps. Gould is the other forward with Langway and Blomqvist on defense. Trottier gets it in over the Washington line. Can't get his stick back from Gustafson. And then is offside as he ended up sitting on the puck.
Of course, all the fans on the same side of the ice that we're on watching Brian Trottier stick handle with his hand, yelling at referee Myers, who was on the opposite side. A little bit like wrestling tonight, isn't it? Guys kind of hiding away from the referee, doing things that they know are going to be upsetting to the fans and the other team.
A minute and 37 seconds left in the opening period, and the Caps get the face-off with Blomqvist shooting it down the ice.
Going to be a penalty, Jiggs, to Brian Trottier for high sticking. He hacked Gustafson across the side of the head right from the face-off. Of course, that's going to draw a cheer from the fans here in Washington.
It'll be called at the 18:29 mark. Trottier for a high sticking, and that's the end of the Islander power play with a minute and 31 seconds left in the period and a minute 27 seconds left in the danger penalty to Gartner.
Here's the face-off as Gustafson turns. Trottier walks into him, comes back with the stick right there across the neck of Gustafson. He's smart enough there. He probably feels that a penalty could be coming and doesn't want to retaliate. That's Leon Stickle, the veteran linesman, talking to Bobby Carpenter, number 10, as to where the face-off's going to be and why. It's going to be deep in the Islanders' end of the ice.
Carpenter, Laughlin, Murphy, and Stevens for the Caps. Brent Sutter on the draw. Tonelli is the other forward. Boudelier and Morrow on defense, and Brent Sutter got the face-off from Carpenter, gave it to Boudelier, then right back to Brent Sutter. Into Boudelier, across to Ken Morrow. Tonelli picks it up in the right wing, comes over center ice, gets away from Laughlin and steps into the Washington zone, cuts to the left wing and fired it into the catching glove of Riggin, who has held it long enough for a face-off. Quick whistle, but we'll have a face-off now on the Washington end of the ice with 1 minute and 16 seconds left in the period.
I thought we were getting another penalty that I didn't see. The whistle blowing that quick, he gave Riggin no opportunity at all. The thing about Riggin, too, something we forgot about, or I had forgotten to mention, was that he catches with his right hand. That's a little bit confusing now. The Islanders are going to take a few minutes. They're going to remind each other that while shooting for the stick side, which most goaltenders are vulnerable on, with Riggin, of course, you're shooting right into his catching mitt.
We watch Courtco line up for this face-off against Carpenter. Courtco pulled it back to the point for Boudelier. Lets one go through a screen. Riggin got the catching glove on it and held it.
Good face-off, good draw by Roger Courtco. What a nice job he's done since coming up, being called up by the Islanders for an emergency situation, and stayed.
Playing at the moment with Bob Bourne as the other forward. Brian Murray, the Washington coach, making a change, it appears. Christian coming off the ice. Jarvis has come out to take the face-off. Along with him, it'll be Carpenter, Stevens, and Murphy. Young Islander fan. Health bothering him a little bit right now. Adam Gale, 7-year-old youngster from Mastic, tuned in to Channel 9 tonight to watch his team, the Islanders and the Caps, in battle. Adam, we hope you're feeling much better. Watch Murphy playing it back of the net out to Carpenter. Bobby Carpenter comes over center, on into the Islander zone, is chased wide at the defense and dumps it around the boards. Smith cuts it off. Plays it into the open corner. Carpenter and Bourne go after it. Over comes Boudelier, and Stevens rides him into the boards heavily. The puck comes back to Scott Stevens. Plays it to Murphy. Murphy shot right on. Smith down on his knees, held it, and there's no further play. We have 41 seconds remaining in the opening period.
Interesting, Jake. Murphy let the shot go that time, and the position he was in, as you look at Larry Murphy, the one-time Los Angeles King, he let the shot go, got it on the net, made Smith make the save. Earlier, when Washington were on a power play, 3 times from the point with lots of time, they shot the puck right over the top of the net. Now, if they're shooting at the head of Billy Smith, it's absolutely ridiculous, and if that's what the coach thinks, and I have to think that after what we've seen with the stick dueling with Mike Gardner and Billy Smith, if the point men are going to shoot at his head, they're wasting their time. That's exactly, they're falling into the trap that Billy Smith wants to set.
Now Brent Sutter wins the face-off. You mentioned that a couple of times Sunday, Islander traps, and Bill Smith in particular.
Funny. Sorry.
And it was borne out, I was just going to add.
He's done it for years, and if they're not disciplined enough, they'll fall into it.
Now the Caps start out, led by Gustafson. He comes over center into the Islander zone, was slowed up, and Persson cleared it, but not out. McEwen dumps one around behind the net. Haworth and Potvin battle for it. Gustafson comes in as well as Haworth went down, and then Gustafson is checked by Tonelli. Tonelli up to Brent Sutter. Headed across to this right side. Gartner ripped one off the ankle of Pearson. There's the horn, ending period number 1. When the second period begins, 29 seconds will remain in the penalty against Brian Trottier. Neither team able to do any business in the opening period here at the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland. Capacity crowd liking what they've seen as we're into the deciding game of the Patrick Division semifinal. The winner of this game will go on to face the Philadelphia Flyers for the Patrick Division title. Of course, the Flyers won the season title, and now it's up for grabs in this game. After one period, it's the New York Islanders nothing, the Washington Capitals nothing. We'll be back with a recap.
How were we? We carry the picture.
The dates are set. The opening game will be in Philadelphia on Thursday night at 7:30. The second game would be in Philadelphia at the Spectrum on Sunday. And then the series would shift either to the Capitol Center here in Landover next Tuesday, a week from tonight, or to the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. It all hinges on the outcome of this game. The opening of the series is in Philadelphia on Thursday and Sunday, then returning to the home of the winner of tonight's game. A best-of-7 series in the past. Second round has seen back-to-back games, but that has been changed this year. And due to that change in the start of the various series as they follow along, the Stanley Cup final could be played as late as the 4th of June. The last game if it were to go a full 7 games.
Well, it's getting closer and closer to being a 12-month business.
Yes.
Remember when the Stanley Cup was over in April.
Then, of course, only a matter of 2 rounds to declare a winner. And one of these teams will win and go on to play Philadelphia. The other will pack it up and get ready for next year.
Yeah, and just on that note, Jake, don't they really, though, spread it out? I mean, the second round, you were saying, starts on a Thursday. It starts Thursday night. And they don't play again until Saturday.
Sunday in this case.
Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah. Right. In the case of Philadelphia, the Spectrum is tied up with a tractor pull on Saturday.
Well, we got to make sure we get that in.
And then it would go Tuesday and Thursday of the following week.
Remember the year that Chicago, not thinking they were going to make the playoffs, I would have to think, didn't have their arena, and they 2 out of 3 preliminary. This particular round at that time was a 2 out of 3. They had to play their home games at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum.
Yeah, I recall that well. Brian Trottier leaving the ice. He has 29 seconds remaining and a high-sticking penalty. Caps outshot the Islanders 8-7 in the first period. Now Roger Kortko to take the face-off with Carpenter, and the puck comes back to the Washington line, controlled by Murphy. Murphy and McEwen on the points. Stevens up front with Carpenter and Gartner. McEwen having a little trouble getting free from the forechecking. Gave it to Stevens and across to Murphy. Steps over the Islander blue line. Murphy holding on to it. Gives it to McEwen. Lets a shot go through a screen and blocked by Pearson, and Bourne has cleared it down the ice. Matt Regan in goal for the Caps. Moves it up to Gartner. Well, it's taken by McEwen, actually. Now to Carpenter. Carpenter steps over the line. Chased wide by Pearson and then checked in the corner. Bossy trying to pull it away from Gartner as Trottier is back out on the ice. Ryan Trottier plays it around the boards. Up comes Denny Potvin. Potvin at center ice, dumps it in. Bossy going in after it, gets tied up with Gustafson, and Bossy backs into Regan, knocked the puck loose. Can't get it teed up, however. Bart Gillies draws a crowd, and they'll freeze it on the boards to the left of Regan. First 52 seconds of the second period expired. For the Islanders, Brian Trottier, Mike Bossy, and Clark Gillies. On defense, Johnson and Dineen now as Jarvis and Gould come out for the Caps. Duchesne stays out there. Ryan Trottier and Jarvis on the faceoff. Trottier pulls it over to Bossy. He gets knocked down from behind, and Dineen slaps it in around the boards. There's Trottier and Jarvis battling for it as they go to the corner. Trottier went down. No call. Johnson moved the puck in a little deeper, and it's kicked out into center ice. Here's Gord Dineen. Dineen plays it across. Johnson coming back for the Islanders. Flips it into the center ice zone. Art Gillies gets tangled up and controls the puck. And then back it goes to Dineen. Now to the right side to Trache. Tipped it around. Langway recovered neatly. Rod Langway takes a look. Comes up the left wing boards. Into the Islanders zone with a pass to Gould that was offside.
Washington Jiggs are handling the puck fairly well, but they're making some very big mistakes defensively. Players getting out of position. A moment ago, we had Scott Stevens on the power play. He was standing well in front of the red line. Rod Langway behind the blue line. Langway looking for an out. Stevens stayed above the red line. In other words, if he gets the puck, it's a two-line pass, nullifying the play. Stevens, just a little technical thing, should have been moving back quickly towards Langway, stopping inside his own side of the red line just to take the pass so that they could get going.
The Islander forward line now is Brent Sutter, Dwayne Sutter, and John Tonelli as Boudelier moved to center and dumped it in. Adams and Dwayne Sutter collide. Brent Sutter went into the boards along with Stevens, and the puck has been dumped down the ice. Morrow and Carpenter going after it. Eddie Morrow plays it around behind the net. It'll go to the right point. Bloomquist comes in a little deeper. Plays it off the boards. Boudelier gets hammered, and here's Morrow with it. Now a penalty back of the play. A hooking penalty. And Adams trying to rough up Paul Boudelier. Boudelier gets a hand loose for a brief moment before Ron Finn grabs a hold of him. Leon Stickle, the other linesman there as well. So they'll get some penalties. Referee Bob Myers appeared to have one call before this broke out. We'll see what he hands out. A break in the action. 18 minutes, 8 seconds left in the second period. There is no score.
If you're heading for the West Coast, there's a new way to fly. It's the Moonlight Special, and the price ain't high.
Every night, Eastern Airlines flies the Moonlight Special to the West Coast for $98. But there's no checked baggage and special conditions apply.
When the sun goes down, then the price starts to let Eastern's Moonlight Special. Shine a devil loving light on you.
The Moonlight Special, only $98. Call your travel agent or Eastern Airlines.
Greg Adams gets a penalty. 2 minutes. Let's take a look at what happened. Adams and Paul Boudelier. There's Boudelier number 4. Bobby Carpenter, and he runs into Boudelier. Boudelier hooks Adams off the puck. There's the arm going in the air for a penalty by the referee. As he blows the whistle, Adams tied up with Paul Boudelier. There's Adams coming in behind. They double team Paul Boudelier. Boudelier hooks Carpenter to the ice and then takes his gloves off and does a number on Adams, or tries to do a number. I don't think there was any punches landed. So Paul Boudelier ends up with a 2-minute hooking, 2-minute roughing penalty. And Adams gets roughing. Did I get that right? I couldn't hear our official announcement.
They're called at the 1:52 mark of the second period. Teams at 5 aside. Brent Sutter on the face-off against Dave Christian. The puck came back to Stevens, then over to Murphy, and a shot skipped off the leg and just wide as Smith had gone down. Anticipating the shot. Here's Brent Sutter clearing it around the boards. Potvin chases it, picks it up on the left side, and dumps it out to center, intended for Brent Sutter. He can't get it away from Scott Stevens, and back comes Bourne. Into Persson. Ahead to Bourne. Couldn't knock it down. Stevens with it at the Washington line. Gave it to Murphy, and he's chased a little deeper by the checking of Bourne. And Murphy comes down the right side, over the Islander line. Plays it into the corner. Christian and Persson go after it. Christian got turned around by Persson, and the puck goes to Bourne on the left wing. Out to LaFontaine, and just out of his reach. Stevens clears it to Christian, then right back to Stevens. Up the wing, away from Gustafson. It lands on the stick of Persson. Over to Potvin. Potvin faked the shot at the line and stepped in offside. He got crossed up in the timing with his teammate, Brent Sutter, in this case.
Lucky thing, too, Jiggs, because at the offside, Gustafson was stealing the puck. Potvin puts himself offside. Christian is on the near side. There's the breakup of the play. There's the offside. Wonder why it wasn't delayed. Gustafson. Oh, no, they touched it. That's right. Gustafson's trying to pick up the puck. The Islanders touched it. He had Dave Christian, open on this side of the ice out of your camera range, and they had a 2-on-1 break if Gustafson had been able to secure the puck and get going.
The Islanders nothing, the Capitals nothing. Brent Sutter and Bobby Carpenter on the face-off. Tonelli is on the right. Johnson moved up on the left side. He and Dineen are the defensemen at the moment. Puck in and out of some skates is cleared by Brent Sutter to Gord Dineen. Now to John Tonelli. To Brent Sutter, who comes over the line. Ed McEwen turning around. Now fires one off McEwen's stick, and Riggin plays it back of the net. Mike McEwen being hounded by Brent Sutter. McEwen gave it to Veach, and he just did pull it away from the checking of Bossy. Now Veach sends Gartner over the line on right wing. Gartner trying to get around Johnson, goes back to the net. Can't get out in front. There'll be a penalty call coming up on the Islanders. Veach with a shot. Smith the save, and it's slapped out of the air. Picked up by Johnson, and play is called. Thomas. Is it Johnson or Deneen? He's got one of the Islander defensemen ticketed. I believe Deneen now will follow referee Bob Myers to the penalty box. So the Caps get a break here, and will return with this break in the action. There is no score.
Hey, give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. A Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Oh, kind of light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Some of the speed of Mike Gartner outside. Gartner behind the net. Up in the top part of your screen, Gord Deneen takes a tripping penalty. The Washington Capitals, in 35 seconds, will have a two-man advantage for about a minute and 25 seconds.
They get the puck on this face-off. Stevens moving in, drops it back to Murphy. Murphy at the right point. Stevens comes back to help out. Murphy moves in along the boards into the face-off circle, holds the puck. Couldn't find anybody open, gave it to Gustafson at the side of the net. He comes to this near side, out to Stevens, who shoots one. Smith the save, and Morrow can't clear it out. Murphy's drive, Smith down, blocks it, they carry it back to the net. Center it out in front, and Murphy drills one that Smith got enough of. It comes to the side of the goal, and is smothered now, and there's no further play.
Excuse me, Jiggs.
Just going to say that only 4 seconds remains in the minor penalty to Adams, and then the Caps will go to that power play. Two-man advantage for a minute and 25 seconds, but they sure teed it up here.
Couple of outstanding saves by Billy Smith, point blank, through heavy traffic. There's a good stop by Smith. Gustafson behind the net. Smith reaching out. Gustafson held the puck. It's back at the point. There's a hard drive that hits the outside of the net just to the left of Billy Smith. He gets down, gets a hand on it. Murphy is taken down by Brian Trottier over a couple of other players as the play stops.
Gustafson at the Washington bench had an opportunity a moment ago, as you saw it unfold again, and it comes back to the point on this faceoff. Murphy pulling it to the left side. Adams is out of the box, so Washington with a two-man advantage, and Murphy fell. Morrow trying to clear the puck out is knocked down by Gartner. Trottier moves over for it, moves up the left wing boards, and clears it out into center ice. Back goes Murphy. Backs all the way into his own zone, and then gave it to Stevens. Got Stevens up the middle. Across the Islander line, slows up the play with a pass to Carpenter. Turned around, gave it to Murphy. Shoots, that goes wide of the net. Stevens on the left wing. Comes back to the point. Again, gave it to Murphy. To Stevens, fires one, and Smith got enough of that as it deflected off Gustafson. Comes to the blue line. Murphy to Stevens. Back it goes to Murphy, being bothered by Bourne. Murphy holding on to it. That's a shot fly that missed the goal. It'll be picked up at the left point by Stevens. Stevens with a drive, deflected in front by Morrow. Murphy off the right point, got it into the corner to Gustafson. Back it goes to Carpenter. Over to Murphy. Murphy to Gustafson, and they tried to set up Gartner, was broken up, and Bourne has cleared it out of there.
I think Kenny Morrow got in the way of Gartner's shot, Jiggs, and then they clear the puck out.
Carpenter brings it in down the left side as Gartner goes to the front of the net. The pass is there, and Smith reaches out and grabs it and holds on.
Only 11 seconds remaining in the penalty to Paul Boudelier. 46 seconds remaining in Gord Deneen's penalty. Here's Murphy. Passes to the side of the net. Gustafson right here. A hard shot blocked by Ken Morrow off the stick of Mike Gartner, and the Islanders clear it to center ice.
Gerson and Potvin talking it over as Bill Smith moves back and forth in front of that 6-foot wide, 4-foot high goal. Brent Sutter will be the lone forward. Haworth has come out for the Caps.
Out of town score, Jiggs. Gilbert Perreault has scored 3 goals in the game. Sealing has scored. It's now Buffalo 4, Quebec 3.
Buffalo at one time up 3-1, and then they came back. Here's Veach with a shot from the blue line. That sailed wide of the net, will be held in by McEwen. The top of the circle, he shoots Smith, the pad save. They bang at the rebound, but there is none. Bill Smith has it cradled in his catching glove, and the first penalty has expired. That is the penalty to Boudelier. Now 33 seconds remaining in Dineen's penalty.
Missing the net several times. Here's Mike McEwen. He didn't miss the net this time. He got it through. Smith made the save. Laughlin trying to get a rebound. Smith has a hold of the puck. Twice from the right point position. Won by Darren Veach. There's the shots on goal. 16-8. Favor of the Washington Capitals. Larry Murphy earlier blistered one a good 5 feet wide of the net. And then Darren Veach a moment ago, he whistled one 2 or 3 feet wide of the net. Trying to put a little too much on it.
Now they get it back to the blue line on the draw. McEwen in along the boards to Carpenter. To Gartner, comes to the side of the net, and it hit the side of the goal as he went to play it. And Persson slaps it down the ice. The penalty being served is Boudelier, not Dineen. His minor penalty has expired. Boudelier is sitting out the balance of his 4 minutes, and it has 12 seconds remaining. Veach into the Islanders zone. Went to the right wing and dumped it in on the boards. Smith leaves it for Persson. It gets hammered from behind by Carpenter, and Potvin picks up the puck. Headed up right wing out of the reach of Bossy, and the teams are at 6 aside again. So the Islanders weather one more storm.
And a big storm, Jiggs. They rode out the gale. Now look out. This is when a team generally comes roaring back.
McEwen with a shot. Stick saved by Smith, and he dives out and covers up. 13 minutes, 52 seconds left here in the second period. But the Caps, with that 2-man advantage, all kinds of opportunities, a lot of shots, but nothing got behind that man.
They seem so disorganized. Part of it because the Islanders penalty killers doing a great job, particularly being down 2 men with 1 minute and 25 seconds on the clock. Great job there, particularly up front by Brian Trottier, but the defenseman playing good position. Takes a great amount of communications and teamwork to make that work.
Now the Islanders clear it around the boards in their own end of the ice. Bob Bourne flips it high in the air out into center ice. It lands right in front of Langway, who was able to clear it to Gould. Gould and Bourne colliding. It was Gould that went down, but up with the puck comes Duchesne. Moving into the Islanders zone, and Johnson poked it off his stick. This is Rod Langway. Waited for Gould to get back on side. Then his shot is blocked by Smith. Adams goes in after it. Centered out in front. And Smith on the short side makes the save and holds on as Gould came blowing up the right wing.
Pressure from the Washington Capitals, but the Islanders keep them to the tough angles from well out. Several of the shots here in the second period have not been dangerous. Billy Smith came up big on one save during the 2-man power play, but the rest of the time the team has kept the Washington shooters to the outside and at sharp angles, not giving them the good ice to shoot from.
In this period, the Caps with 12 shots on goal, the Islanders with 1. And of course, Washington with the benefit of a 2-man advantage and trying to dominate, getting that opening goal. Brent Sutter will face off against Carpenter. Teams at 6 aside. Boudelier takes it to the side of the net, pulled it away from the forechecking of Haworth. Couldn't dump it out of there, however, as Carpenter was right on top of him. Haworth picks it up. Alan Haworth knocked down back in the net. Adams in to take over in this near corner. Trying to get away from Morrow. Puts it out in front, but right to Brent Sutter. Brent and Dwayne Sutter come to center. Tonelli moves up as well as Brent Sutter gets around Veach, gets turned around, and the puck slid through the goal creases. Dwayne Sutter tried to tap it by Riggin. Tonelli in the corner. There's a delayed penalty call in effect. The Islanders get the extra man on the ice. Brent Sutter trying to put it out in front. Dwayne Sutter now back to Bossy. Lets it go, and Riggin got a piece of that and dives on it as it comes off the boards, and play is called. There'll be a holding penalty on Langway, I believe. So the Islanders go to the power play. The penalty be on Veach, rather, not Langway. A break of the action. The Islanders nothing, the Capitals nothing.
We won't let anything stand between you and a new Oldsmobile. If there's a mountain between you and a Cutlass Sierra, we'll move it. If there's a river separating you from a Delta 88, we'll part the waters. We'll perform miracles to get you a special deal on any new Oldsmobile. Nothing comes between you and a new Olds. Certainly not a few bucks.
From your good old guy.
Washington Capitals get a penalty. Darren Veach, a holding penalty. Brent Sutter going outside of Veach. There goes his right hand out. He grabs a hold of the right arm of Brent Sutter, circling outside him, and draws a holding penalty. We've got a stoppage here for some reason.
Timeout being called by Al Arbor at the New York Islander bench. One 30-second timeout in the course of a game, and Al Arbor using it here.
That's unusual that he'd use it at this point, Jiggs. Obviously, Al Arbor has a good reason for doing it. I know what it is. Brian Trottier had a lot of ice time. Well, it'd have to be Trottier having a lot of ice time on the penalty situation. Maybe he wants to give him that little extra rest because he's coming back out for the power play along with Bossy and Clark Gillies. So possibly it was a matter of just giving Trottier a 30-second rest. He knows the significance of one goal, a power play goal here, not quite halfway through the hockey game, could have a significant effect on the way Washington Capitals approach the rest of the game.
Now the 30 seconds time up, that would make sense, all right.
The only thing I could think of, really.
The Islanders get the draw. The puck back to Potvin. His low shot just missed the net. And back to the right wing point for Janssen into Trottier. Gillies being tied up in front of the net. Trottier can't get it away from Langway, then pulled him down. Here's Gillies putting it back in the net. Ryan Trottier backs into Bloomquist. The puck goes to Bossy. Can't find anybody in front. It comes back to Potvin. Into Mike Bossy. Turns, fires one that hit Langway and slapped high in the air. Goes over the glass and into the seats.
Frantic effort going on in front of the net. Clark Gillies, Rod Langway, two big guys looking for a little bit of ice. Tremendous battle between them. The puck goes out over the glass, and the face-off is going to be outside the blue line, which, of course, a big help to the Washington Capitals. We look at the Norris Trophy winner, Rod Langway, a moment ago, and now a camera angle from behind the net that Pat Riggin is defending here in the second period, and there are the shots. 20 for the Washington Capitals, 10 for the Islanders, and we've got 12 minutes and 15 seconds still to play here in the second period. No score.
The Islanders complained very briefly about the location of the faceoff, feeling that Langway had knocked it out of play. Now Bossy checked at the blue line by Langway, and Potvin shoots it in. Skips around the boards. Gillies tangled up with Gould, and Janssen got it into Clark Gillies. To Trottier. Back to Gillies here on the right side. Now to Trottier, comes out in front, a pass to Bossy, gets away from him. Potvin holds it in. Gillies taken down in front of the net. Puck ends up in the far corner, cleared by Langway, right back to Potvin. His shot blocked in front. Bossy moves in. His backhander is grabbed and held by Riggin as Bossy at virtually an empty net, only to be robbed by Riggin.
Bossy with a good opportunity. The puck was bouncing and rolling. He got a backhand away. There's Potvin as he whips it in. It's deflected. Langway deflected it. Here's the loose puck, and as Langway turns around, Bossy hammers it. Look where Riggin is. Riggin's off balance. He's trying to get back up. Let's take a look. Maybe we'll see the shot come this time as the backhand shot comes. There's Riggin's catching mitt as he doesn't quite get back up. Makes the save.
I think for the benefit of our viewing audience, we must explain that we're sharing the pictures tonight. The local telecast here in Washington, cable telecast around the nation with USA, back to Canada, and an abbreviated version of Hockey Night in Canada, and of course ourselves. It is not our telecast. We're sharing it. And you're not seeing some of the things that we normally expect to be able to show you. For that, we apologize. Denny Potvin bringing the puck up the right side to Janssen. He's across the Washington line, cutting to the left side. Janssen dumps it in front. There's Trottier, and it was blocked by Stevens.
What a move by Scott Stevens, Jiggs. He got back quickly. They allowed Brian Trottier to get in behind everybody alone in front of the net. Stevens reached back with his stick and pounded it off the stick of Brian Trottier.
Janssen backhanding it to Tonelli at the Washington line, but Trottier was a foot and a half or so, maybe a little more, across the line ahead of the play and offside.
27 seconds remaining in the penalty to Darren Veach. Washington doing a pretty good job now of killing off the penalty to Veach, although 27 seconds, the Islanders could strike. But at this point, Washington has done a pretty good job, although they did allow Brian Trottier to sneak in behind them. Not a good sign. Trottier just about ready to let go with a shot when Scott Stevens swung his stick in desperation and knocked it off the stick of Trottier.
Now Brent Sutter on the draw. Bossy just reached over and knocked the stick out of Langway's hands on that face-off. Brent Sutter moves up the wing, comes over the line away from Gustafson, poked it around Langway, but Regan out of the net. Moves it to the right side where Gould is able to get it to Gustafson. He works one-on-one on Pearson as he comes over the line. Gustafson holds it, drops it off into the corner, and there's Tonelli. 5 seconds remaining in the penalty to Veach. Tonelli into center ice. Hard collision with Gustafson, but Boudelier takes over. It's checked right at the Washington blue line. Brent Sutter can't get it to Tonelli, and Darren Veach comes to center. Teams at 6 aside. Moving in on right wing is Gould. That's a shot go, and it's into the catching glove of Smith. A quick whistle as he went to drop it off, and they'll face off again in the Islander end.
Exactly, Jiggs. You see Smith look back over his shoulder at Myers saying, what's the matter? There wasn't anybody around. I could have unloaded it. I wanted to unload it. Take a look as Bobby Gould comes across the line, stops quickly, and lets go with a shot. Easy pickings for Billy Smith on the glove side. He's ready to throw it down. The whistle blows as Gould again lets go with a quick shot that's handled easily by Billy Smith. Stoppage of play.
Al Arbor sending out Brian Trottier, Bob Nystrom, and Roger Kortko. On defense, it is Johnson and Deneen. Christian with Sampson and Lachlan up front. Here's Stevens moving in following the draw. Nystrom knocked it away from him, got it out to Kortko. Kortko to Bob Nystrom. Flips it in over the Washington line. Murphy clears that out to Brian Trottier. To Kortko. He gets in onside all right as Nystrom held at the blue line. Here's Kortko being bothered, and Murphy is able to move it up the right side. Lachlan now to Sampson. Sampson dumps it in at the Islander blue line, and Smith slows it up back of the net. That's it for Johnson. Around to the right side, intended for Nystrom. He gets bumped. Kortko is able to clear it. Murphy is checked, and Lachlan comes over the line and stolen by Kaller. He shoots, he scores! Anders Kaller steals the puck at the Washington line and puts the Islanders up 1-0.
He hasn't seen much ice time, but he didn't make it count. He made it count. Down the ice goes Anders Kaller. Had the puck handed to him by the Washington Capitals. Lachlan. There's Lachlan reaching out, trying to get a hold of Kaller. Kaller looks up to see what his best move is. He shoots it into the lower right-hand corner. Big goal for the Islanders. Big mistake by the Washington Capitals. Mishandling the puck. Lachlan heading in his own direction of his own net, excuse me. Kaller takes advantage of the mistake of Lachlan and makes it 1-0. Big goal for the Islanders. A big lead here. Halfway through the hockey game at 9:52 of the second period. Anders Kaller capitalizing on the mistake by the Washington Capitals.
And I'm sure you have thought back to last year in the overtime game between these two teams at the Nassau Coliseum. After Washington had won the first game, the Islanders won the second with an Anders Kaller goal in overtime. They're up 1-0, and Nystrom is into the Washington zone. Dumped it around behind the net. Kaller steps in front of Francis Getty and gets pulled down. The puck stays in the Washington zone. Trottier puts it out in front. Nystrom was too well covered. The Caps come over center ice, led by Francis Getty. That's to the left wing, chased by Morrill as he tried to dump one off in front of the net. Carpenter goes after it. Trottier steps in front of him. Brian Trottier comes off the left wing boards. Left the puck there for Kaller. Out of Wayne Sutter. Sutter is over the Washington line, trying to pull it between the defense. It went right to Riggin. Steers it aside to Francis Getty. Rink wide now to Gartner at center. He's over the Islander line, trying to cut inside the defense. Holds the puck. Didn't get any help, and the Islanders take over. Wayne Sutter to Ken Morrow. Up the right wing to Brent Sutter. Christian runs into him, dumps the puck back into center ice, and came back himself. Now Timo Blomqvist gets a hit on the boards from Brent Sutter. The Caps move it rink wide. Christian comes over the line, right in on goal. His centering attempt broken up by Morrow. Held in by Sampson, who centered it in front. That hit Bourne, and Morrow is able to clear it.
What a defensive move again by Ken Morrow.
Caps start out of their own zone. Stevens giving it to Sampson. Aids the rush to center and fires it in wide. Paul Boudelier gets back in time to take it away from Craig Lachlan. Boudelier around the boards. Bossy checked by Sampson. Sampson fell in the corner, and the puck went to Bossy. Bossy holding on to it, then banks it off the glass here on right wing. It came to the line where Stevens knocks it down. Then he is checked, and Brent Sutter clears it out to center. Christian back to the Caps. Gave it to Stevens, who carries it into his own zone. It's stolen. Here's Tonelli with a shot. Regan just got a piece of it. Lachlan over on right wing. Dumped it to the corner. Bloomquist trying to move it up the boards. Got it to Laughlin, now to Christian. Christian over the line with Adams. They come in with a pass to Adams. He centered one just wide. Ends up in the far wing. Murphy dumps it in front, and there's Persson. Now to Pat LaFontaine, who's over center ice. Has Bossy and Tonelli with him. The pass to Bossy. He shoots. Regan makes the save, and there's absolutely no rebound. We have 7 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the second period. There is a break in the action with your score. The Islanders 1, the Capitals nothing.
This bud's for everyone who's got what it takes to make his own breaks.
Are we on? This is Paul Martinez reporting to you from the International Airport.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
From the International Airport, this is Paul Martinez reporting. Thank you, Paul, and welcome to the news team.
To Paul Martinez, my son.
Pat Regan a moment ago. John Tonelli ripped one. Look at the reflex action of Pat Regan as he kicks it aside with his right foot. Down at the other end, Adams takes a pass from Christian and rolls it just wide of the far goal post. Smith, it appeared, got a little piece of it, just enough to send it wide of the post.
Now from the draw here, Persson lets one go that was blocked in front and cleared out into the center ice zone. Being informed that there were 2 assists on the goal by Kaller, one to Kortko and one to Nystrom.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Particularly when Laughlin had shot it, misplayed it. He was the last player to handle it. He was trying to make a pass. He missed the pass, and Kaller went in and scored. Well, who are we to argue? That's for the official scorers.
We got some other exciting news today. Folks, there will be a New York Islander Nassau County Summer Hockey School after all. We'll tell you about that. It's going to be held at Candiac Park again, but a very abbreviated edition. We'll get you some information next opportunity. LaFontaine had it, lost it just inside the Washington line, and Gustafson sends Gartner over the line. Potvin couldn't knock it away from him. Now Gartner tees one up, centered it instead, and a right to Stephen Persson. Ahead to Pat LaFontaine off his skates, and at center ice, Veach sends Gartner over the line. Couldn't handle the puck, and Potvin has given it to Persson. Up the right wing for Bob Nystrom. Stolen, and here's Gartner with a shot. Glove save by Smith. It was going wide anyway, and Bill Smith just reached out and held on. Well, the summer hockey school, normally held during June and July, was not planned this year because Nassau County is going to be busy at work doing a lot of improvements at Candiac Park in Hicksville. And they've decided now that they'll have the work done in time for the Islanders to stage a 3-week hockey school from August 12th to the 31st. And during that time period, there will be 3 one-week sessions for youngsters between the ages of 7 and 18. You can get information by contacting Candiac Park, area code 516-935-3501. Mike McEwen fires a long shot that skipped off the stick and off the glass as well. Here's Bossy trying to clear it out. Ryan Trottier picks it up. Fed it to Bourne on the left side. He's over the Washington line, working on McEwen. They go to the boards together. Bourne kicked the puck loose, but Jarvis was right there. Flips it high in the air, and it'll land at center ice. Back comes Deneen. Over to Janssen. Got it away from Jarvis. Ahead for Brian Trottier. Now to Bob Bourne, who dumps it in. That ends up in the seats. If you want to get a pencil and paper, we'll give you that number later on for the New York Islanders Summer Hockey School again. There's a break in the action here at the Capitol Center with the score. The Islanders 1, the Capitals nothing.
Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. The technology behind it gives this driver engine protection he can depend on. And this driver. And this driver. And this driver. Mobil synthetic oil technology. There's no finer engine protection on Earth or anywhere else.
The important thing here now, Jiggs, for the Washington Capitals is to continue to play the way they've been playing. I don't think that that's what generally happens with Washington when they get ahead, as they were 4-2 in Game 4, slackened off. Here tonight now, we'll just have to watch and see as the Islanders take a 1-goal lead. Washington have to figure that they were going to score more than 1 goal in a hockey game anyway, so they've got to continue their play. If they don't, the Islanders will get 2.
Now Carpenter into the Islanders zone, chased wide by Boudelier. Carpenter able to dump it off in front of the net, and here's Stevens with a shot. Bounced in front. Laughlin's drive is blocked. Stevens lets it go and rides right up into the catching glove of Smith, and a little jostling going on in the goal crease. That won't be appreciated by Bill Smith one little bit. Now he comes out of there throwing the puck off as all the other combatants are getting to know one another.
He ducked out of the beehive and said, "Go ahead, boys, use it while I'm not here." Take a look as Washington puts some pressure on now. There's a shot that did not get to the net. Scott Stevens comes in. Corral's a bouncing puck. There it hops up in the air. Smith has got a hold on it. Adams comes in. He looked like he got a piece of Billy Smith in his mask as he came charging in. I didn't see Myers go to the timekeeper's box for a penalty, but you could see Smith, his head bending back, Adams standing in front of him, although there was a lot of players converging on the scene.
34 years of age, regarded as the best clutch goaltender, money goaltender in the National Hockey League now. There have been several in the past, but Bill Smith has an amazing playoff record, 87 wins, 33 losses. Playing tonight at his 126th playoff game, more than any other goaltender in the history of the National Hockey League. The Islanders send the puck into the Washington zone. Reagan out just in time to knock it away from Dwayne Sutter's pursuit. Here's Adams being checked at center, and Morrow flips it high, and it goes over the boards into the Islander players' bench.
Big mistake again, this time not nearly so costly by the Washington Capitals as they get caught flat-footed. Close call for a breakaway. The Islanders, Reagan, come charging well out of his net, a good 25 feet. There's the flip-out pass by Ken Morrow. Brent Sutter fields it onside, passes it to his brother Dwayne, streaking through the center ice area. Here comes Reagan out. Just as Dwayne Sutter touches the puck, Reagan knocked it away from him. Had he not done that, it'd have been 2-0 easily, as Dwayne Sutter would have just had to hold on to the puck and walk around a sprawling goaltender, Pat Reagan, and put it in, but Reagan got the tip of the goal stick on it.
Brian Murray changing things around a little bit. The Washington coach has Francis Getty out there on left wing with Bossy on the right side. Bossy trying to get away from Francis Getty as Trottier brings the puck into the Washington zone. Dropped it off for Gillies. He is checked. And up comes Murphy to Gartner. Potvin steps in front of him, and the puck is loose for Persson. Stefan Persson takes a hit from Francis Getty as he dumped it around the boards. Gustafson forechecking, got it loose, put it off to the side of the Islander net. It's underneath Potvin now, and there's no further play.
Good defensive move by Potvin on Mike Gardner. And then Stefan Persson takes a heavy pounding from behind as Francis Getty rode him into the corner. Persson limping around now like he banged his knee into the boards. Bossy talking to Myers, the referee, probably pointing out to him that he missed calling the penalty on Francis Getty.
Francis Getty going back to the bench, and Duchesne is drawing the assignment of shadowing Bossy. That's something that they have done throughout this series, trying to nullify the effect of a Mike Bossy. Gustafson trying to get it to Gartner. Did. Potvin wrapped him up. Here's Gustafson, and he can't get turned around before Persson was on him. Stefan Persson flips it back to the net for Potvin. Up the left wing, Bossy has it on his offside. He has Bourne coming in as well. Mike Bossy moves in, the pass to Bourne, and it ends up at the side of the net as he just couldn't tip it around the goal post. I called it offside. It was his off wing. He was playing over on the left side. Didn't mean to confuse you any more than I am. McEwen comes to center and shoots it in. Duchesne into the corner, takes a hit on the play from Gord Dineen. They continue to battle here. Purslane in front. There's Laughlin with a shot. Smith the save. It ends up underneath Johnson, and now a fight breaks out. Dineen and Duchesne square off. Gordy Dineen trying to get the left hand loose, and does after having taken a couple of shots from Duchesne. This one all started out on the right wing boards.
I think there may have been a penalty called, too. Thomas Johnson laying on the ice just prior to the fight breaking out, Jiggs. Reached out, grabbed the puck, pulled it underneath him. I thought I saw Myers put his arm in the air, signaling a penalty just before the fight broke out between Gaetan Duchesne and Gord Dineen. A stoppage of play here, a break in the action. The Islanders leading 1-0 with 4:18 remaining in the second period. We'll be right back. Penalties. Take a look at the replay as to how maybe this thing got underway. There's Gord Dineen as he crashes into Gaetan Duchesne. They wrestle in the corner. The puck is out near the front of the net at this point. Dineen, Duchesne, Dineen. Sticks, intimidation. Who's going to give in first? There's the puck. There's Thomas Johnson. You see him reach out. Referee had his arm in the air signaling a penalty. These two guys get in a fight. Is Thomas Johnson in the penalty box?
No, he had Duchesne and Dineen for slashing, and now 5 minutes for fighting.
He didn't have a penalty on Thomas Johnson?
Apparently not.
He must have forgot.
They each draw 7 minutes at 15:42. 2 for slashing, 5 for fighting on Dineen and Duchesne. The Islanders 1, the Capitals nothing as Trottier comes to center and shoots it in just wide of Reagan. Nystrom going in after it, got tangled up with Gartner. And Gartner came up with the puck, pulled it away from Bourne, played it to the left wing, and there's Kortko on it quickly. Dumps it in off the stick of Beach. Now to Gustafson. Kortko steps into him, but Gustafson able to get it to Murphy. Murphy into the Islanders zone, puts on the brakes. Dumps one off right into the chest protector of Bill Smith, who has held it for a face-off. Francis Getty gets tangled up on the goal post. Bob Bourne making sure that he stayed there. You look at Brian Murray, the Washington coach. He has been very mild-mannered in this series, except for a brief outburst early in Game 4 on Sunday night.
I think maybe he's looking over his shoulder at how Al Arbour does it.
I would like to think so.
Be a bit surprised, but I remember during the season a couple of times when it was evident that he was working very hard at not breaking loose. I'd asked him that question.
He did have some biting comments to make about Al Arbour, however, after Game 4. Mr. Murray was very mild-mannered after the loss to the Islanders Sunday night. Potvin taking it to the corner boards, tying it up with Haworth, and Tonelli dug it loose. John Tonelli gets turned around. Carpenter centered one, and Potvin stepped in front of that pass. Kenny Potvin clears it into center off Bossy's stick. Way out of the net comes Reagan and scoops it up. Now plays the puck with the pass to Blomqvist. Emil Blomqvist to Greg Adams. Adams comes up the left side at center ice, went rink wide to Haworth. Alan Haworth's shot is blocked by Boudelier, and John Tonelli reaches for it. Over the center ice stripe. Haworth catching up with him. Tonelli across the line. The pass to Bossy. Bossy on the backhand, flips it through. Brent Sutter shoots, he scores! Brent Sutter from Mike Bossy, and it's 2-0.
All it takes is a mistake at the wrong time or the right time, depending on which way you're looking at it. Another mistake by the Washington Capitals. At the blue line, it looked like everybody was covered. Here's Bossy. There's Brent Sutter. Nobody looks for Brent Sutter. Haworth had him for a moment, let him go. There's the backhand shot as he shovels it underneath the outstretched leg of Pat Reagan, and Brent Sutter has made it 2-0 here in the second period. Bossy getting loose. There's his backhand pass. Sutter left wide open in front, hammers it into the lower right-hand corner of the net, and it's 2-0 now. Fine play by Bossy to Brent Sutter, and a big 2-0 lead here with 3 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the second period.
One of the few times in this series that the Islanders have been able to get 2 men open in front of the net. The only man back was Scott Stevens, and the Islanders lead 2-0 on that goal at 16:56. Langway handling the puck at his own end, got it to Christian. Up the right side, that's Haworth dumping it in over the line. Laughlin, and backhanded it wide. Gillies took Christian off the puck. Sampson in after it. He's checked on the end board. Gillies and Sampson waltzing around. Puck comes to the left side. Langway in off the point. Clears it behind the net. Mark Gillies with help from Boudelier now, and they get it to Ken Morrow. Morrow dumps it high. It's going the length of the ice. Reagan will let it go. McEwen comes back to touch up. And with 2 minutes and 21 seconds left in the third period, there will be a face-off back in the Islanders zone. But up at the blue line, we've got a scuffle now. Ken Morrow involved originally, was being challenged by one of the Caps, and Clark Gillies stepped in. Langway was there with Wayne Sutter, had him under control. And Bob Myers is directing them back into the Islander end of the ice for a face-off. No penalties on this exchange. Brent Sutter's goal with assist to Mike Bossy and John Tonelli officially. I remind you again that the winner of this game will play the Philadelphia Flyers for the Patrick Division title, a series that'll open at the Spectrum in Philadelphia on Thursday night. Game number 2 will be at the Spectrum on Sunday, I believe Sunday evening at 7. And back at either the Nassau Coliseum or the Capitol Center next Tuesday night. You look at Bob Bourne, who's come out for the Islanders, along with Bob Nystrom and Brian Trottier. On defense, it'll be Persson and Potvin. The Islanders return home immediately after this game, no matter what the outcome is. When they returned following the first 2 games, there was one single fan there to meet them. Now, I realize that not everybody knows where the Islanders fly in and out of, but there was one fan, one loyal supporter there in the middle of the night. Trottier getting the puck back to Persson following the draw. Up to Nystrom on this right side. To Brian Trottier, who comes to center and dumps it on into the Washington zone. Bourne going after it, got ridden into the corner by Francis Getty, and there's Murphy starting out. Murphy's pass to Carpenter to the right side for Gartner, trying to pull it in through the defense. Went to the backhand, gave it to Veach. He fires one wide. Chasing it is Bourne, and it'll get a break on the left side as they move up with Nystrom. Veach, the only man back. Bourne closes in, his pass deflected, and Riggin has it right at the goal crease.
Close call. Another mistake. Veach missed the net. Remember, we talked about how many nets they'd missed and how costly it was. Veach comes down, misses the net. Away comes Bob Bourne. He's got a 2-on-1 break. There's the pass that went off the skate. Riggin just traps it outside the goalpost as the Islanders take advantage of another big error by Washington. With 1 minute and 48 seconds remaining in the second period, a 2-0 lead. Kaller at 10:08, then Brent Sutter at 16:56.
Al Arbor sending out Roger Kortko, Mark Gillies, and Dwayne Sutter with Morrow and Boudelier on defense. Dineen has gone to the Islander dressing room. Duchesne to the Washington dressing room, each with 7 minutes in penalties. Face-off is to the right of Riggin, and the Islanders got it back to the point for Boudelier. Dumps it in around the boards. Gillies chasing it. He and Sampson bump together, and up comes Rod Langway. He was lined up by Dwayne Sutter, and Langway, sensing the hit, dumped the puck off. So the Caps regroup in their own zone. Sampson and Langway battling for it. Out-battled one another. Gillies is knocked down in front of the net, and there's Kortko picking it up in the corner. Roger Kortko plays it into Dwayne Sutter. Langway tying him up. In comes Gillies. Jarvis arrives as well, and the puck is loose. Dwayne Sutter kicking it. And now they pull it back in, and we'll get a face-off in the circle to the right of Riggin. 1 minute and 15 seconds left in this period. That telephone number for the New York Islanders Summer Hockey School. Again, it is a 3-week, 1-week sessions from August 12th to the 31st. The number is area code 516-935-3501 for Candiac Park. Mike Bossy has come out on right wing. John Tonelli on the left side. Brent Sutter at center ice. Carpenter will take the face-off for the Caps. It was Bobby Carpenter who had the penalty shot with only 30 seconds remaining in Game 4. And the Islanders led at that time 5-4. Carpenter could not get the tie. Mike Bossy got the Islanders a 6-4 win, forcing this game that you're watching tonight. And we're glad you tuned in. Al Arbor has used his 30-second timeout in this period. Now directing Brent Sutter on what to do with this face-off. Above the face-off circle, it'll be closer to the blue line than it is to the Washington net. Glad you tuned in. Al Arbor has used his 30-second timeout in this period. Now directing Brent Sutter on what to do with this face-off. Above the face-off circle, it'll be closer to the blue line than it is to the Washington net. Nice story on Al Arbor in the Washington Post today. The puck comes back to the point, dumped in by Stefan Persson. Stevens in the corner. Played it back of the net. Tonelli cut it off there. Brent Sutter went down. The puck loose. Tonelli trying to get it in front again, but the play is called for a hand pass, apparently, and they'll face off to the right of the net. Exactly 60 seconds remaining here in the second period. Major penalty to Gartner in the first period led to a 3-minute power play for the Islanders that was abbreviated with a high-sticking penalty to Brian Trottier. And in this period, Washington had a 2-man advantage and couldn't cash it in. The Islanders unable to score on a penalty to Veach, but they did get a break when Kaller scored at 10:08, taking the puck away from the Washington defense and moving in for a 1-0 lead that Brent Sutter has added to. Here's Jarvis clearing it in his own zone to Gould, now across to Gustafson. And Gustafson on into the Islanders zone, pulling to the right side, lets the shot go, and it missed the net. Gould is taken off the puck by Bossy's check. Canelli has cleared it to center, and Veach comes back. Brent Sutter moves up to forecheck, is joined now by Bossy, and Langway was able to get it over to Veach. Veach backhands it into the Islanders zone. Going back is Persson. He's being chased by Gould. Persson around the boards. Gustafson centers, and they score! Carpenter, closing through in front of the net, has cut the margin to 2-1. 1939, or 31, excuse me, will be the time of the goal. Bobby Carpenter getting his first of this series. Gustafson laying it out in front after the puck had stayed in the Islanders zone, and there's Carpenter beating Bill Smith. Persson gets bumped after making the play. Gould bumping him. The puck comes around the boards. The Islanders not able to get to it before Gustafson puts it out in front to Bobby Carpenter. This crowd of over 18,000 that had really become very quiet picks it up now. Carpenter being congratulated at the bench. He was unable to beat Bill Smith with a penalty shot effort on Sunday night. He'd been one of the top shooters over the season, 53 goals. And in this series, had come into Game 5 tonight, having had 10 shots in the previous 4 games, but nothing that went into the net. But it's now 2-1 with that goal by Carpenter. Following the draw, the puck in the center ice zone. Gustafson got it back to Langway. Over to Veach. Veach pulls it away from Bourne, gave it to Gustafson. Comes into the Islanders zone, putting it right on Dwayne Sutter's stick. He couldn't clear it out. Francis Getty dumps it off. Chasing it is Boudelier. Out of Bourne. Tried to backhand it out of there. It hit Veach. Centered out in front, and the shot from Francis Getty just went wide. Wayne Sutter picks it up here in the right wing boards as Francis Getty and Morrill square off. A fight here at the end of the period. In come the linesmen as Morrill wrestles Francis Getty to the ice. And we'll get some more penalties. At the end of the period, and the referee directing players back to the bench, making sure that we don't get a full-scale Donnybrook here. But right at the end of the period, Francis Getty and Morrill down on the ice just to the side of what was the New York Islander goal. And in the period, the Islanders opened up a 2-0 lead. Washington comes back with a big goal in the final minute of the period. And that could give them the lift they need going to the third. We're in for another classic battle tonight, as we expected to be. The linesmen have Morrow and Francis Getty pulled apart. You watch Brian Murray as his team has left the bench, and he between Gillies and Bossy for the Islanders. Johnson and Potvin on defense. There were fighting penalties to Morrow and Francis Getty right at the end of the second period. And the Islanders and the Caps remain at 6's side. You look at Clark Gillies out on the left side with Trottier and Bossy, and now Al Arbor sending out Stephen Persson and Paul Boudelier on defense.
Interesting watching Bobby Carpenter talk to Alan Haworth on the play. Carpenter goes back, slams his hand on the top of the board. Brian Murray now changing them. It did not look like a good approach. Now Carpenter's still yelling at him on the bench. That is a very, very poor sign. That is a bad sign for the Washington Capitals. That doesn't make Haworth feel any better. If he did make a mistake, it wasn't nearly as costly as some of the mistakes that we've seen. But you don't point those things out in that particular manner, is what I'm pointing out.
We'd heard scouting reports on the Caps as they were having a little collapse late in the regular season, that there's a lot of second guessing going on. Now Sampson shoots the puck into the Islanders zone, and Bossy comes back. Let it move along the boards. Jarvis is bumped by Trottier, and there's Boudelier getting it around to Bossy on the right side. Out to Clark Gillies at center ice. Gillies lost his balance, and McEwen comes into the Islander zone. The pass to Gould comes right in. Shoots. Smith makes the save as Gould was headed for the net wide open, and Smith beat him.
You'll only get so many opportunities like that in a hockey game. Billy Smith comes up big again. Here's Bobby Gould trying to beat Smith on the short side. Didn't get the puck up high enough. He put it right into the mid of Smith. Here he is again. There's the shot. Billy Smith guarding just over his pad with the catching mitt. Bobby Gould puts it in. Smith grabs onto it, hangs on. A stoppage of play. A big mistake by the Islanders does not turn out to be costly.
Gould scored the first playoff goal in the franchise history here in Washington. It was against the New York Islanders and Bill Smith, but not this time. Smith out of the net following the face-off, played it around the board. Dwayne Sutter took the man, now takes the puck and clears it into center. Blomqvist back on their defense. Ahead to Carpenter. It was knocked away from him, and Potvin has dumped it in. Pat Riggin goes back at the net and leaves it for Stevens. Stevens coming out on the right side. The pass ahead is out of the reach of Haworth. It's going to go the length of the ice, and we're going to whistle for icing. Carpenter went down. Potvin got a piece of him. Carpenter slid into the board. We watch Johnson coming back. There is no penalty. Fans calling for one, but not getting one.
Unfortunately, the fans didn't have a whistle, Jig, so they can't give penalties.
They'll face off in the circle to the right of Pat Riggin. A lot of Islander fans here tonight. I was surprised with the number who have come by to say hello. We've got a stack of messages to pass along that we'll never get to. In fact, we're not going to be able to get to. A lot of the folks from work at the Nassau Coliseum for Harry M. Stevens, the concession stands and hot dog stands and so on are here tonight. Clark Gillies is headed down the ramp toward the Islander dressing room along with Jim Pickard. There's a piece of equipment that's not right.
It's his skates, Jiggs. You remember right in the center ice area, saw Clark Gillies fall as he was trying to do some forechecking. It's obviously stripped the skates so bad he has to go in and either change the skates or get both of them sharpened.
Canelli just stole the puck in the Washington zone but couldn't set up Dwayne Sutter. Stevens with it to Lachlan, and Potvin with a thundering check knocked him off it. Up comes Scott Stevens. Shoots it around the boards in the Islanders zone. Smith will leave it for Brent Sutter. Sutter takes a hit from Lachlan. The stick's up a little. Now Tonelli goes rink wide. Moving up the boards is Dwayne Sutter, excuse me. He couldn't get around the caps. Lachlan moves in, and it's offside at the Islander blue line.
Linesman Finn calling it offside. He was standing right on the blue line. There's no question about the offside. It was close, but it was still offside. Lachlan got his bell rung pretty hard as Dennis Potvin caught him coming out of his own end, but the offside pass, as you take a look, there it is. He's just a little across the line. Lachlan, number 18, half a stride. Like you say, a game of inches.
Bob Bourne, Roger Kortko, Bob Nystrom, Paul Boudelier, and Stefan Persson out on the ice for the Islanders, along with goaltender Bill Smith. Boudelier back to Persson. Off the right wing, it hits Nystrom. He turns and dumps it in wide of Pat Riggin. That's Murphy chasing it back. Kortko trying to get him off the puck, but Murphy recovers and brings it into center ice. Larry Murphy waits and sends Christian over the line on right wing. Christian goes in deep, carries it back of the net. Boudelier chases him into the corner. Gustafson picks up the puck, comes out in front, turns, shoots, and it went wide. Roger Kortko picks it off the left wing boards and has dumped it to center. Gustafson with it for the Caps. Plays it in over the line. Boudelier will take control there. Paul Boudelier ahead for Kortko. It went too far. Murphy plays it to Veach. Off the boards to Gustafson, who couldn't hold the pass, and Persson has it. Now to Bob Bourne. He and Nystrom come to the Washington line. Bourne shot it wide as he dumped it in, then headed for a rest. Well, the Caps come up the right wing quickly. Gartner goes rink wide, and on a player change, he couldn't get it through to Jarvis in time. Janssen has cleared it to Nystrom. Nystrom dumps it off into the center ice zone. Up comes Kaller, but McEwen got back in time. This is Potvin to Trottier. Trottier bumped into the referee, tries to get away from Jarvis, gave it to Bossy. Now to Kaller on left wing. Anders Kaller knocked down by Langway's check, and the puck ends up in the corner. Here's Trottier to Kaller. Kaller slowed up by McEwen's check, and over goes Sampson for the Caps. Harry Sampson trying to come down the left wing. Deep pass to Jarvis, now to Gould. Fires one. Smith got in front of that. Gould with his own rebound rounds the net. The net has been taken off the moorings with a collision between Bill Smith and Jarvis. So play is called, and there will be a face-off deep in the Islanders' zone. Bill Smith lost his helmet and mask on that collision. Greg Smith, the Islander trainer, coming out to have a look at his goaltender just to make sure everything is okay. He'll put that net back on and get going again. But there's a break in the action at the moment with your score. The New York Islanders 2, the Washington Capitals 1.
It's different because it's engineered to your car's exact specifications, yet affordably priced. It's golden because it's backed by a solid national guarantee. If anything should ever go wrong, in 50 states, we'll replace it free for as long as you own your car. It's Midas, the gold standard of mufflers. Trust the Midas touch.
Take a look. There's the shot by Bob Gould, handled easily by Bill Smith. There's Thomas Johnson and Doug Jarvis as they wrestle. Jarvis running into Billy Smith, into the net, taking it off the peg.
Brent Sutter will take the face-off along with Bobby Carpenter of Washington. Sutter gets turned around and got the puck to Johnson. Now to John Tonelli. His pass intercepted. Carpenter lost his balance, and Dwayne Sutter has cleared it. Good chance for Carpenter, but he couldn't hold his edge, and the Caps have to go back. That's Blomqvist over to Stevens. Now to Carpenter, and it went off the heel of his stick, picked up outside the line. Carpenter stole it from Tonelli, comes into the Islanders' zone with Haworth, and the centering attempt is picked off and held by Bill Smith.
Washington doing it the right way, though, Jiggs. If they're behind, they've got to keep bringing the play to the Islanders. They've got to control the puck as best they can. Of course, keeping a close eye always on Bossy and Trottier when they get out on the ice. Can't forget about John Tonelli and Brent Sutter and a whole lot of other guys, but they're doing it the right way. They're forcing the Islanders. They're going to have to keep doing that. They're not going to get that many opportunities. They've had one good one when Gould went in. And Billy Smith made a good stop on him from the right wing side.
The Islanders playing this game without the services of Patrick Flatley. An injured hand. We're led to believe a broken bone in a finger or the hand somewhere is missing the action tonight. Pat LaFontaine is back into the action after having missed Sunday's game. The reason for that, fourth game in 5 nights, and LaFontaine still doesn't have his strength back after a bout with mononucleosis earlier this season. Of course, Greg Gilbert is out of the lineup for the balance of the year after major knee surgery. Also scratched for the Islanders tonight, Gord Lane and Matt Saline, along with Gerald Diddick. On the face-off, the puck comes loose in the Islanders' zone, picked up by Dineen. He got away from a check and plays it off the boards, picks it up himself and dumps it out into center ice. Blomqvist knocked it down, and it's recovered by Brent Sutter. Ahead to Tonelli, steps over the Washington line with Sutter. Tonelli is slowed up from behind, the puck loose. Reagan jabbed at it. Tonelli couldn't get full control of it as he moved in. Now Tonelli and Carpenter battled for it. Tonelli wins that, put it out in front. Dwayne Sutter shot is a sparkling save and picked off by Haworth. Haworth clears it off the boards. Dineen dumps it back in. A delayed offside is not called as Haworth takes a hit from Tonelli, and the puck comes to center ice. Scott Stevens gets into the Islanders' zone. Holds the puck, then turns and fires one wide of the net. Smith gets bumped back in the goal as he clears it around the boards. It was Gartner running into Smith, and the puck goes to the opposite corner. There's Johnson, lost it to Sampson. Sampson to Gartner, sidesteps a check, comes out of the corner, centering attempt. Blomqvist shot it high. Christian with it now, puts it out in front, off the stick of Tonelli, and cleared back to the net. Dave Christian comes out and missed the chance as he got turned around, and Tonelli breaks out with Dwayne Sutter, 2-on-1. They're over the line together. Tonelli to Dwayne Sutter. He shoots, Reagan robs him. The Caps break out of their own zone. It's Stevens carrying the puck. The pass to Gartner. Left side to Sampson. Left it outside the line. The Caps in the middle of the player change, and Christian deals it off to Murphy here on right wing. Now back into his own zone to Veach. Up to Christian. He couldn't get a stick on it. Neither can Potvin, and the Islanders have to chase it. Laughlin steps in around Potvin, and they go to the boards together. Potvin clears it to the corner. Christian is there for the Caps. Couldn't center it on the first attempt. Gets tangled up with Caller. Now Pearson moves in. Laughlin left it in the corner, recovers, and is checked by LaFontaine. At LaFontaine down the right side, working on Veach as he crosses the line. Shoots one, Riggin the glove save. Dropped it off, but the whistle had already sounded, and there's no further play. Action at both ends of the Capitol Center, but there's a break just now with your score. The New York Islanders 2, the Washington Capitals 1.
When you've got a business to run, you've got to watch every penny. And pick a partner you can count on. The 1985 Toyota Standard Bed truck has the power and the payload to handle the job. And all the toughness that's made Toyota the #1 selling small truck in America. Payload and power make the $59.98 Toyota Standard Bed a partner that's worth every penny.
Oh, 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 what a feeling, Toyota.
Pat Riggin a moment ago. John Tonelli makes the pass to Dwayne Sutter. Sutter comes in, lets fly. Look at the balance as Riggin dives across with his pads together, taking away the low ice and the puck.
Kenny Morrow and Lou Francis Getty have finished serving their major penalties. Morrow is back out on the ice with Boudelier as Gould dumps the puck into the Islanders' zone. Gould and Boudelier go to the boards. Jarvis and Morrow got entangled at the side of the net. In the meantime, Trottier brings it out of there. Brian Trottier at center over the Washington line. Ran into McEwen. Bourne trailing the play. Can't get it away from Langway in time, and Gould starts out. The Caps move up 3-on-2. Gould here on right wing. Gould trying to cut in. Got chased deep by Boudelier. Gould holding on to the puck. Comes out in front now. Drops it back to Langway. Langway with a shot. That went through, but wide of the net. Here's Gould with it. Puts it out in front. Smith comes out to block that. And Brian Trottier takes over here in the corner. Is checked by Gould. Bob Bourne turns. Kicks it to the point, but not out. Gould's long shot is grabbed and then cleared by Smith. DeBossy. He flips it high in the air. It hits the scoreboard. Bounces back into the Islanders' zone. Home run.
Well, at least a ground rule double, but Bossy trying to clear it out into center ice. Gets a little too much of it. Flips it as high as I've seen a puck in a long time. It was halfway up in the scoreboard area when it made Washington with lots of pressure. Bobby Gould having a pretty good game for himself. That's Langway going back. Took a weak shot wide of the net. He was being checked at the time. Bourne in pursuit as the puck comes in front. Smith knocked it away from number 25, Doug Jarvis.
New York Islanders 2, the Washington Capitals 1. We have 13.5 minutes remaining in regulation time, and the puck is kicked out into the center ice zone. Kortko and Blomqvist chasing it. Timo Blomqvist played it to the left wing, and Persson using the boards. Got it to Nystrom, right back to Persson. Now to Gillies and off his stick. Matt Riggin comes out of the net to play it. Kortko chasing it. Roger Kortko steps around a check and dumps it back at the goal. Over goes Nystrom and Francis Getty in a hard collision. The puck springs loose and ends up in the Islanders' zone. Potvin back for it. He and Persson on defense. Potvin neatly to Kortko, away from Francis Getty with a pass to Nystrom. Poked it around Stevens. Nystrom lost his balance, gave it to Gillies. Gillies with a drive off the shin pads of Blomqvist, and it's recovered by Gartner. Gartner up the middle of the ice. Fires from outside the line. Smith makes the save, and Gustafson goes for the rebound. Gave it to Gartner. Back to the point to Veach. Here's checked by Bourne. Bob Bourne flips it out into center ice, and Veach was there. Just did break up an Islander opportunity. Blomqvist sends Gustafson to the Islanders' zone. He is checked. That's LaFontaine trying to come down the left wing boards. Pokes it in around Blomqvist, but overcomes Veach. Plays it to the left side. Greg Adams breaks out for the Caps. LaFontaine chases him. Ran into him, but Adams able to dump it into the Islanders' zone. Bill Smith around the boards. Adams gets a stick on it. Played it to the corner. It's dug loose, and Haworth had it stolen by Keller, who's cleared it to center ice. Veach plays it off the boards to Adams. Back to Veach. Over to Murphy. Murphy gives it to Haworth here on right wing. He steps into the Islanders' zone. Janssen chases him to the boards. They go to the corner together, and back to help out is Gord Dineen. Dineen out of the right wing corner now. Ahead to John Tonelli at center ice. And it rolled off his stick right at the Washington line. Janssen falls, but the puck ends up in the Islanders' zone, and Smith able to feed it to Ken Morrow. Morrow shoots it high, and that will end up in the New York Islander players' bench. Come back out on the ice, and play is called with 11.5 minutes remaining in regulation time. There's a break in the action here at the Capitol Center, where your score is the Islanders 2, the Caps 1.
While
most air freight companies spend the day on the ground, racing to pick up small packages so they can deliver them overnight. Someone is already delivering them the same day. Eastern Airlines. Eastern Sprint service guarantees you small package delivery to over 90 cities the same day, or you don't pay. The guys who fly by night can't do that. Eastern Sprint, when it definitely, unquestionably has to be there today.
Out of town score. Quebec, Cote has scored his second goal, assisted by Gillis at 11:02 of the third, and it's 5-4 Buffalo over Quebec.
Here the Washington Caps try to get even, and Smith makes a big save. The rebound, and Smith comes out to take it away from Sampson. Washington putting on pressure, but Bill Smith equal to it.
When Washington break the defenses of the Islanders, Billy Smith stands tall. Here's Lachlan behind the net, trying to put it out in front. First try failed, second try made it. There's a shot, blocked in front by Paul Boudelier. There's a backhand shot, not a strong one. Sampson let it go, it was up high. Billy Smith got across in front of the shot in time to make the save.
Brent Sutter got the draw to Boudelier. Now around to Dwayne Sutter on right wing, across to Brent. Off his stick into the Washington zone. McEwen slaps it ahead to Lachlan, but it went too far. Boudelier gave it to Morrow, now to Tonelli. He's across the line with a quick shot. Hit the goal post as Tonelli had Reagan moving out. I don't think he saw it. John Tonelli can't get it in front. Now he gets around to check. Shoots. Reagan makes the pad save. Tonelli after the rebound. Knocks it away from Langway. Dwayne Sutter in front head. It's knocked off his stick, and out comes Lachlan. Gave it to Christian, and he shoots it on into the Islanders' zone. Tonelli has been robbed throughout this series. He has had the chances, but it just won't go in, and now the goal post comes up big for the Caps, and the Islanders have just iced the puck.
Reagan come up big too, Jiggs. He's made some good stops in this period, as well as Billy Smith. But that one that John Tonelli ripped off the crossbar. Take a look as John Tonelli, just crossing the line, gets a lot on it. That's a hard shot right off the crossbar. Bang, it comes back out as quick as it went in. Or I should say it came off as quick as it got on. That puck did not go in the net. It came off the crossbar. Out of town again. Buffalo 5. Yes, Quebec has now tied the score. Moeller has scored at 12:06 of the third period to deadlock it at 5 apiece.
Ryan Trottier all set for the face-off with Doug Jarvis. They're in the Islanders' zone as you see them line up. Trottier pulled it to the corner, and Persson slaps it around to Bourne here on left wing. Bob Bourne collides with Bloomquist, and the puck ends up back of the net. Jarvis and Potvin back for it. Potvin got away from a check, cleared it, but not out. Here's Gould trying to go back at the goal. Potvin ties him up. Jarvis gets a stick on it, but can't center. It's underneath Potvin, who is without a stick, off balance, went down, and the fans claim that he was covering the puck and delaying the game. So do some of the Capitals. Maybe he was.
At this point in the hockey game, Myers is not going to call that as a delay of game. You have to put your hand on it, probably eat the puck at this point before he would declare that a penalty of delay game. Still getting a little heat from Bobby Gould as he goes back to get a rest. Gould's had quite a game for the Washington Capitals. He's a lot of hard work when he's been on the ice, a lot of it effectively.
He had that chance in the very first minute of this third period and has really dug down since then. He has had a couple of great chances. Brian Trottier ready for the face-off with Gustafson. We'll tell you about the Brian Trottier Summer Hockey School when we get a chance. The puck comes back to the point. Stevens moves in, fires, Smith the save, and the bouncing rebound is cleared by Bourne. Can't get away from Bloomquist, who tackles him and turns him around. Francis Getty centered. Bloomquist centers and a drive. Smith the save, and he's down to cover up on it. The Capitals denied one more time.
Big break for the Islanders. Billy Smith comes up big again as Washington gets chances time and again. Gardner all alone in front. Pulled the trigger a little quickly. Francis Getty, there's the pass broken up. Washington recover it. There's the play in front. Pulling it to the backhand, Scott Stevens. Trying to get a shot at it is Mike Gardner as he slides through on his knees, but Billy Smith has it trapped between his pads. It was Stevens left all alone in front of the net. Timo Bloomquist, 7, loosened the puck up. Francis Getty in front. There's the pass. There's the backhand shot by Stevens right into Billy Smith's chest. And then he wraps his legs around it and hangs on.
Langway and Murphy come out now on the Washington bench as you look, and the defense at least, as you look at Stevens at the bench. Gustafson to take the draw. Brent Sutter pulled it back. Morrow is hit hard as he plays it around to Tonelli. Now to Brent Sutter. He springs it loose at center ice for Bossy. Comes in on Langway. Bossy using him as a screen. Shot it off the shin pads of Langway. Murphy hustles into center ice. The Islanders completing a change. Murphy over the line. The pass to Gartner. A backhander is blocked by Smith. And it's underneath the defense and held for a faceoff.
Another outstanding save by Billy Smith as Mike Gartner this time gets in the clear. Gets the shot away. Smith gets the blocker on it. Outstanding saves by Billy Smith as the Washington Capitals find holes in the Islander defenses. There's the backhand shot. Smith moving gracefully across the top of his goal crease. Gets his glove in front of it, knocking it down. Play is stopped. Washington continue a strong offensive game. They're getting their chances. Are they ever? There will be a summer hockey school at the Brian Trottier Skating Academy in Port Washington from the 8th of July to the 30th of August. It'll be staged in one-week sessions, and for information, you call area code 516-484-6800. 484-6800 on Long Island, 516 area code for registration and information on the Brian Trottier Summer Hockey School. The Caps hold the puck in the Islanders' zone. It's Murphy backhanding it to the corner. Ersan picks it up and slaps it around to left wing for Trottier. Ryan Trottier dumped it to center, and back comes Murphy. Now to Haworth. Got away from one check, comes over the Islander line on left wing and shot it high. Comes bouncing off the glass to Murphy. Murphy slowed up, and Portko is able to clear it to Kaller to Nystrom. 2-on-1 as Nystrom moves in, pulls the puck and shot it off the post. Portko chasing it. Got it in around the boards. Backboard is Langway. Tries the left side with a pass to Sampson. Sampson out to center. Got it to Carpenter. Checked by Janssen right at the Islander blue line. And this is Anders Kaller. Shoots it high in the air, and it'll bounce to the side of the net. Aaron Beach picks it up, and the Islanders are called for having iced it. 8 minutes and 49 seconds left in regulation time. There is a break in the action. The score is the Islanders 2, the Capitals 1.
Buzz for the crew, restoring America's pride in liberty.
Buzz for you. You know America takes pride in what you do.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, it's Buzz for you.
What a play by Bob Nystrom, and he shot it after he had everybody beat. He shot it off the outside of the goal post into the corner of the rink. A fine opportunity. One of the things that's going to happen here is the Washington Capitals, and time running down on them, start to take a few more chances. The Islanders are just sitting, waiting for the right one to come along.
Beach just fired one that ricocheted off the skate in front of the net. Dineen and Francis Getty go to the corner together. Gustafson dug it loose, put it in front, and Janssen reached in front of Gartner to break up that pass. Bob Bourne comes down the left side, giving the puck to Dwayne Sutter. His shot at the point hit Beach, and is brought out by Stevens. Stevens on this right side, lost it in the skates of his teammate Francis Getty, and LaFontaine sends Dwayne Sutter over the line with Gilly. Sutter's shot was blocked at the defense by Beach, and Stevens has cleared it to Gustafson. And Gustafson at center. Into the Islanders' zone, and Janssen poked it off his stick neatly. Dwayne Sutter dumps it in. The Islanders beginning now to get 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s with regularity. Little less than 8 minutes to go in the third period. Darren Beach shoots it around the boards. Smith will leave it back to the net for Morrow. Up the wing and out of the reach of Bossy it goes. Rod Langway fed it back to McEwen. His pass off his stick to Shane. Reaches for it, controls, and now gives it to Gould. Bob Gould lost sight of it. Trottier coming up quickly for the Islanders. Moves over the line on left wing. Kaller goes to the front of the net, and Trottier is tangled up with McEwen. They go to the deck together, and there will be penalties. Both of them are going to go on.
McEwen and Brian Trottier heavily into the board. A break in the action. 7:31 remaining in the third period. Islanders 2, Capitals 1. We'll be right back.
This
versatile Toyota cargo van has 155 cubic feet of cargo space to put to work. It's garageable and turns on a dime. Because it has the best MPG of any minivan, the average daily fuel cost is just $2.24, about the cost of one long stem rose, 2 pounds of 10-penny nails, a brass elbow joint, or a can of shaving cream. Make a smart cargo van business deal at your Toyota dealer now. How you put it to work is your business.
Mike McEwen gets a penalty. So does Brian Trottier. 2 minutes each. McEwen for holding, was it?
Yes.
Trottier for elbowing.
Well, the teams will be at 5 aside, and Al Arbor is elected to send out Pat LaFontaine with Clark Gillies, Paul Boudelier, and Ken Morrow. For the Caps, it is going to be Carpenter and Gartner up front, Langway and Murphy on their defense. 7 minutes and 31 seconds, the time remaining, as you see it in the bottom right corner of your picture. In this period, the Capitals have had 12 shots on goal.
The Islanders, a moment ago, Jiggs, had 5.
And now 6 officially, and there's Morrow. His shot off the stick and post. Gartner moves to center ice. Trying to come in on Boudelier, cuts inside, dished it off to Murphy. Murphy on the backhand, never did get it away, and then Gartner's shot went wide. The Islanders able to clear it out of the corner. Morrow got it to LaFontaine, now to Clark Gillies. Gillies pulls to the left and shoots it in. Riggin got a piece of that as he steered it to the corner, and Rod Langway came back. Chased by LaFontaine, Langway to Murphy. Murphy pulling it away from LaFontaine. Now into center ice with a pass to Carpenter. Dumps it in wide of the Islander net. Potvin will be the first man back. He and Persson out on defense now. Potvin has given it to Bossy. Mike Bossy elects to carry it out. Plays it to Potvin here on the left wing boards. He steps it over the line. The pass to Kortko. Roger Kortko check. Hustles back in time to keep the puck in the Washington zone and dumps it to the corner for Bossy. Bossy knocks it away from Murphy. It comes to right wing for Gustafson. Kortko right on top of him, but now Stevens gets loose. Now Stevens at center ice. Into the Islander zone, a pass to Gustafson. Goes to the backhand and shot it wide. There's Christian over on right wing. Bossy knocked it away from him, and out at center ice, it's Veach waiting for his teammates to come back. Dumps it into the Islander zone offside as they were a little late getting out of the Islander end. That was Christian nonchalanting it back. And we have 39 seconds remaining in the penalties to Trottier and McEwen.
The supreme test now coming on, Jiggs, as we get on to the 6-minute mark of 6 minutes left, excuse me, of the third period. A lot of players have had a lot of ice time. Some players haven't had very much at all.
Remind the audience again that the winner of this game will meet the Philadelphia Flyers at the Spectrum in Philadelphia on Thursday night. The first game of the best-of-7 series to decide the Patrick Division title. Langway handling the puck in his own end with a pass to Craig Laughlin. He comes to center ice. Laughlin moving in on Janssen, trying to go wide, holds the puck, and then ran out of the skating room, and Smith clears it for Kaller. Now to Bob Bourne. Pulls it away from Bloomquist, comes down the left side. The puck got too far ahead of him, however, and Langway, with time to spare, got back. Gave it to Bloomquist. Emo Bloomquist into the center of the ice. Elects to shoot it in off the boards, and Bill Smith goes back to the net, loaded up, and knocked it away from the forechecking. Got it to Bob Bourne. Back to Janssen. McEwen and Trottier have been sprung from the penalty boxes, and up comes Anders Kaller. As Trottier with him over on the right side, 3 Caps back. Kaller trying to get between them with Sandwich. The puck goes to the corner. This is Trottier. Takes a hit, pulls it away from Laughlin. Takes another hit, then is tied up by Langway. Pinelli in forechecking. Gave it to Trottier at the side of the net. Trottier chased to the corner by Bloomquist. Pinelli and Langway battle for it. The Caps get control. It's Jarvis coming down the left side. Doug Jarvis dumps it in. Duchesne knocked it down, and it was knocked away from him. Brent Sutter to Morrow. Clears it away from Duchesne at the blue line. Murphy out at center ice. Gulps it right back in again with less than 5 minutes to go in the third period. The puck sprung off the skate, and they get it ahead to Tonelli. Works on Murphy. John Tonelli. Poke check by Murphy. Tonelli goes after it and gave it to Dwayne Sutter, who comes in late. Sutter in the corner. It's tangled up there. Murphy reaching for it is chased back of the net by Tonelli. They come to the corner boards, and Murphy is stripped of the puck by Tonelli. Dwayne Sutter rather, backhanded one that was grabbed by Riggin on the short side and held for a face-off. We have 4 minutes and 27 seconds remaining in regulation time. With a break in the action, your score remains. The Islanders 2 and the Capitals 1.
The irresistible Canon AE-1 program.
John, I'm working. Can I have my camera back? Just one more.
It's hard to put down because it's so simple to use.
This Canon AE-1 program's super. Just one more.
The program mode makes it easy to shoot like a pro.
Here, get to work.
Canon's AE-1 program.
Keep drawing the ball.
So advanced, it's simple. Canon, the official camera of the National Hockey League.
Four minutes and 27 seconds remain in the hockey game. The Islanders leading 2-1. Washington have had some opportunities, but they haven't made them count.
Roger Kortko just won a big face-off, getting it to Potvin, who has dumped it around the board. Sampson chasing it. Nystrom steps in front of him. But Sampson, who had fallen, was able to clear the puck into center ice. Now Nystrom for the Islanders. Off the boards to Kortko, who's dumped it in. Nystrom chasing it. Riggin comes way out of the net to play it off the boards. It's picked up by Kaller, comes to the side of the net, and Riggin gets scrambling back into the goal crease in time to cover the puck.
Washington not covering well. They saw Riggin heading out of the net to make a play on the puck. Players not getting back quick enough. That can be costly. Here's Bob Nystrom down, forcing Riggin. He bounces it off the glass. First player to get near it, Anders Kaller. Kaller falls down as Riggin gets a hold of the puck. Kaller's skates splashing near the head of Pat Riggin, but that's because he was knocked down from behind on the play. Four minutes and 5 seconds. Lots of time in one way, very little in another. Not easy to get a goal against the New York Islanders in the last half of the last period in a game such as this. Buffalo 5, Quebec now 6. Ashton has scored at 18:51 of the third period.
The Buffalo problems continue in Quebec City. Sabres had a big lead tonight. The puck has been frozen in the corner boards here, as you see. When you think back earlier in that game, Buffalo was up 3-1, Eddie, then 3-3.
5-3, they were ahead.
Yes.
There's the shots on goal, 38 by the Washington Capitals. At 12 shots for them, 22 for the Islanders. That's 7 shots for the Islanders here in the third period.
Al Arbor sending out Brian Trottier, Clark Gillies, and Mike Bossy. On defense, it'll be Janssen and Deneen. Thomas Janssen injured in the second game of the series. Missed only one game with the Charlie horse. Back to play Sunday night, played regularly. Hasn't missed a shift here tonight that I can recall.
It's an endorsement to the training staff. Craig Smith getting him back into action as quickly as possible. Can't forget, though, that great replacement for him in Dave Langevin, game 3.
Oh, what a job he did. The puck sprung loose off the boards, and the Caps break out. Gartner on right wing. Into the Islanders zone with a pass to Carpenter that was offside. There's one other playoff game tonight. They'd gone to the third period in Montreal with no score between the Boston Bruins and the Montreal Canadiens.
Naslund has scored in the third period at 19:09 of the third period. Montreal take a 1-0 lead with only 51 seconds remaining in the hockey game.
Mercy. And here the Caps, with 3 minutes and 42 seconds left in the third period, need a goal to get even with the Islanders. The face-off is outside the Islander line. McEwen picks it up and shoots it in off the board. It hopped over Smith's stick, but Morrow was there to back him up. Got it to Bossy. Bossy is checked and turned around by Gustafson. Here's Gartner going back in the net. Threaded the needle to Langway at the blue line. He shoots. Smith comes out to make the save. The puck goes loose. Boudelier and Gartner after it. Now Gustafson gets loose. Goes back to the net, trying to center the puck. Tangled up with Trottier as Boudelier manhandled Francis Getty in front of the net. McEwen holds it at the left point and then shot it off Trottier. It's picked up by Gillies to Brian Trottier, but there's a whistle. Back in front of the Islander goal, Morrow and Francis Getty just now separating, and they're both going to draw penalties.
Oh, how do you do? How do you do? Well, anyway, they're going to get penalties. I'm sure that I'll only draw the wrath of somebody or somewhere if I say something. Look in front of the net. You see that? I'll say no more. That's it. Anyway, they're both going to the penalty box. Morrow for giving, Francis Getty for receiving. And that's the way it is. That's a shame.
High-sticking penalties to Morrow and Francis Getty at 16:50. Rod Langway talking to linesman Leon Stickle as you look at Brian Murray barking out instructions at the Washington bench. The captain goes back.
Notice how tastefully Rod Langway handles Leon Stickle. He's asking Leon, do you think maybe you could hand out the penalty, Leon?
Any event, the teams will be at 5 aside. Bob Bourne coming out with Kortko, Potvin, and Persson on defense. It's Christian and Gould for the Caps. They have Murphy and Stevens together on the defense. The puck cleared in. Smith gets it out quickly. Kortko going after it. Scott Stevens pulls it to the boards. Persson trying to knock it away from him. Kortko does. Gives it to Bourne. Bourne steps over the Washington line here on the left side and blasts one off the stick of Murphy and up into the seats. The clock now down to 2 minutes and 53 seconds remaining in the third period as you look at Bob Bourne.
One of the things now that Brian Murray, coach of the Washington Capitals, has to be aware of is how he handles his personnel. He's got to have his best players as much of the time as he can out there, but he can't leave them out there that long that he's going to completely drain them. He wants to get at least, say, 3 shifts out of each one of his better players. He still has a timeout. Al Arbor doesn't.
No, the Islanders used theirs back in the second period.
Now the final score, Quebec has defeated Buffalo 6-5. That's a final score. Quebec 6, Buffalo 5.
And it would appear that they have set the stage for another battle of the province of Quebec, as Montreal was leading Boston at our last report. With only seconds remaining in the game. Here's Stevens into the Islanders zone. Waited long enough for Christian to get back onside, then dumped it to the corner. Smith behind the net. Knocks it away from Carpenter. And Thomas Johnson feeds it across to Kaller. Then to Deneen, who moves up. It's over the line. Kaller goes to the front of the net, and they rule that he stepped in before the puck carrier, and the Islanders are offside. The other matchups in divisional play, it'll be Chicago and Minnesota, and it'll also be the Winnipeg Jets and the Edmonton Oilers.
Without the services of Dale Hawerchuk, their all-star centerman, who has 2 cracked ribs in the second to last or last game against the Calgary Flames, and he is reported at this time to be out of action for at least the first 4 games that Winnipeg plays Edmonton.
The puck just went into the seats following the face-off, and the Islanders make a player change. Roger Kortko had been out there. We've watched him take more and more of the important face-offs.
Yes, he has, Jiggs. And he has earned the right because he's very good at them. He's caught on quickly.
Now it's Brent Sutter with John Tonelli on the left side. Persson moved up on the right, and Sutter got the draw. Potvin shoots it around the boards. It got away from Riggin. Here's Tonelli getting a stick on it. He is bumped by Veach. And the Caps take over. It's Gustafson starting out. That's Gustafson into the Islanders zone. It was poked off his stick and cleared by Brent Sutter. Darren Veach goes back. Tonelli knocked it away from him, but goes right to Veach, to Langway. Langway sends Gartner into the Islanders zone. He lost the puck, picks it up, and backhands it toward the net. It bounces. Potvin comes over for the Islanders and took it away from Gustafson. Now Brent Sutter at center dumps it on in, wide of Pat Riggin. The Islanders go for a player change. Rache coming out with Bossy, Deneen, and Johnson as we watch Veach. Here's Gartner with that pass at center ice. Gustafson broke up the play and comes over the line, only to have Deneen poke check him. Mike Bossy feeds it to the left side. And off the boards, and Riggin back of the net leaves it for Stevens with 1 minute and 35 seconds left in the third period. Got Stevens to Darren Veach. Veach plays it out to center. It bounced away from Lachlan. Icing has been waved off. Deneen gets back in time and has given it to Brian Trottier. Flips it into the air and into the center ice zone. Riggin, who had started out of the net, goes down to block the puck and got it into the center ice zone. Up comes Christian. Dave Christian moving in on the board. Johnson slows him up. Thomas Johnson trying to dig it loose, did. Here's Murphy. The Washington goal is now empty as Murphy gives it to Christian. He comes through in front, is checked. Loose puck, and Kenny Morrow backhands it into the center ice zone. The Washington goal is empty as they go with the extra attacker. Barry Murphy feeds Gould as he moves in on the right wing. Runs into Johnson. Overcomes Persson. The puck is underneath Stefan Persson, and there's no further play.
49 seconds remaining in a hockey game. A well-played hockey game. 2-1, the Islanders leading. The empty net down at the other end. Washington with an extra man. They've done damage before that way. Of course, now it's a battle that the Islanders have been in many times before. So many times in this hockey game, particularly here in the third period. Billy Smith has come up big again, keeping the New York Islanders from falling into a tie or falling behind. He's made that many saves.
I don't believe that some of this crowd is leaving, but they are with a 2-1 score and 49 seconds left in a deciding playoff game. But that's what's happening here at the Capitol Center as Brian Murray has chosen this moment to take his 30-second timeout. With Matt Riggin on the bench, he'll have 6 men out there and a face-off where he wants it in the Islander end. Eddie.
Remember how smart Al Arbor thinks, Jiggs. He took the timeout, used it, knowing that if his team was ahead, that the other coach is going to have to use his. He gets to take advantage of it himself, so it's a timeout for both teams. It's not a strategic timeout, it's a restful timeout. So no matter who calls it, in this case Brian Murray, Arbor gets to rest and organize his players defensively as Murray sets up his offensive plan.
It has not been a series for the weak of heart. Every game has been decided by 1 goal except Sunday night, which was a 2-goal Islander win with an empty netter. But for all intents and purposes, a 1-goal difference.
I suppose for us to see now, Jiggs, we're going to have to stand up like everybody else in this building.
I think so.
And watch the last 49 seconds.
Now let's set the stage for Washington. They have McEwen and Murphy on the point. Up front, it'll be Gustafson. Carpenter will take the face-off. Stevens and Gartner, the other forwards. It comes back to Murphy. Got it over to Stevens. He was checked by Bossy, and a bouncing puck stays in the Islanders' zone, and then is cleared over the glass.
Face-off, most important, is going to be outside the blue line, relieving a little of the pressure with 41 seconds remaining. They shot the puck, try to keep it in, trying to bank it off the glass in the corner, but it was just at the point where the glass is lower on the sideboard.
Ryan Trottier, Brent Sutter, Mike Bossy, Denny Potvin, and Morrow for the Islanders. Trottier and Carpenter move in. The puck drops. It comes back to Murphy. Shoots it in around the boards. Bill Smith loaded up. There's Morrow chasing it. Up to Bossy. Stevens backs into him. Bossy goes down, and the puck is cleared behind the net. Gartner couldn't get to it. Potvin does. Pokes it away from Gustafson, but a hand pass is called as Potvin moves it around the boards, and we're down to the final 26 seconds of regulation time.
Something that the Washington Capitals wouldn't do at this position, that the Islanders would because of their position. Would take any kind of a penalty they wanted, Jake. There isn't going to be any calls between now and the end of the hockey game. Washington were a couple of spots there where they could have probably done a little more to regain control of the puck. Didn't. That's something they haven't learned yet.
Good point. As David Poyle said, they're really in their infancy. Even though they came into the National Hockey League in 1974, this is only their 3rd trip to the playoffs. They've earned a great deal of respect with their playoffs in the past, eliminating Philadelphia in straight games a year ago and then bowing to the Islanders, and they earned great respect in the regular season this year.
And unfortunately, they've got to face the Islanders each time. Last year, of course, it was Philadelphia first, then the Islanders. The year before that, it was the Islanders.
Now 26 seconds. Jarvis will take this face-off against Trottier. Bob Myers giving both teams plenty of time to get set for the face-off, but now Ron Finn sends Jarvis out of the face-off circle. Trottier is backing out as well, and the Caps want to make a change.
Mike McEwen is coming out on the ice, and Bob Myers is saying no, but it's a delay tactic on the part of Brian Murray to get just a little more rest for some very weary hockey players. Brian Murray directing Carpenter to take the face-off against Brent Sutter. And the Caps get the draw. Murphy's shot goes off the stick and up into the seats. They're going to face off at the point at which the deflection took place, which was about 15 feet inside the New York Islander blue line.
Something else I'm sure that the Washington Capitals will be able to grow on is the way they shoot the puck, Jiggs. Another shot like that, or a wrist shot, just to get it through in front of the net. That's all they want to do, is create a scramble in front of the net and take their chances from there. Murphy trying to slap it hard, gets it deflected up into the seats. All the little things that go wrong as the game cuts down now, 22 seconds.
Everybody standing at the Capitol Center. Carpenter and Trottier on this face-off. And it's cleared to the line, held in. Murphy has slapped it around the boards. There's Gartner out of the corner. Tried to put it in front. It comes bouncing through to the blue line and away from McEwen. Up comes Brent Sutter. Can't get to it in time. Murphy has it for the Caps with 10 seconds left. Left wing, it's Gustafson. Checked outside the line. McEwen steps to the blue line and fires one off the blocker of Smith. And that will do it. The Islanders defeat the Washington Capitals 2-1 and will advance to face the Philadelphia Flyers. Bill Smith has to be regarded as a story in this game and the series. As you look at a very dejected Brian Murray, his team came so far this season. And for the first time in Stanley Cup history, a team has dropped the first two games of a 5-game preliminary playoff and come back to win. It had never happened before. Buffalo had an opportunity tonight, but were eliminated in Quebec. And the only other team with a chance was coached by Al Arbor, and his team got the job done. 2-1 is your final score. And the Islanders, after dropping 2 games in the series in Washington, have come back here tonight to eliminate the Capitals.
Traditional handshake, no matter how hard you hammered each other throughout the series. Something that's always been able to happen in a hockey series is a handshake. A gentleman's handshake at the end is still part of it for almost all of the players. A tired group, an unhappy and a very disappointed young Washington Capital fans. Some of the fans, I would think, Jiggs, almost as exhausted as some of the players.
And a nice gesture here as Al Arbor goes through the line, shaking hands with each one of the Washington Capitals. And there we just saw Rod Langway and Al Arbor. Now Mike McEwen, who had played for Al. And the rest of the Caps. Al Jensen, the last one, of the tears in the eyes of these Capital fans. But the New York Islanders get to play one more night. Well, more than that, actually.
They still know how to come up and win, Jiggs, and you could tell when they came back in Game 3, came on in Game 4, you knew that they had to feel and be on top going into Game 5.
Eddie Potvin has been selected as the star of the game here at the Capitol Center. And your final score is the New York Islanders 2, the Washington Capitals 1. We'll be back with a recap right after these messages.
This Bud's for everyone who scrapes it, sprays it, and lays it on smooth. Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser. For all you do. This Bud's for you.
Know why Toyota's the #1 selling small truck? First off, nothing can get you out of the rough like a Toyota 4x4. Then, nothing can carry more equipment than the Toyota 1-Ton. And no small van can carry more than a Toyota. And most important, nothing can outdrive a Toyota. No wonder Toyota's the #1 selling small truck in America.
It's different because it's engineered to your car's exact specifications, yet affordably priced. It's golden because it's backed by a solid national guarantee. If anything should ever go wrong, in 50 states, we'll replace it free for as long as you own your car. It's Midas, the gold standard of mufflers. Trust the Midas touch.
Cooper has always given you the best protection in hockey. Now we've got you covered right down to the ankles. Introducing new Cooper Ruse skates with our exclusive Cooper Comfort Wedge. It supports and locks your heel and ankle into place for a long-lasting, comfortable fit. Because better fit means better skating power and control with every stride. Ask for Cooper Ruse with the Cooper Comfort Wedge. The world plays hockey with Cooper.
The final score at the Capitol Center is the New York Islanders 2, the Washington Capitals 1. All of the goals coming in the second period. In the third period, the shots on goal by Washington 14 and a game total of 40. The New York Islanders had 7 shots on goal, a game total of 22 tonight. Anders Kaller and Brent Sutter with second period goals. Brent Sutter holds up to be the game winner after Bobby Carpenter had scored from Gustafson and Beach at 19:31. That goal did not give the Caps the lift they needed, but goodness knows they had the chances. You think of the chance that Scott Stevens had and so many, many others. And the Islanders have found a way to win one more time.
They sure have, Jiggs. Almost justified when you think of all the records that the New York Islanders hold at this point in their young career as a franchise. And now they've added another one along with winning 4 straight against Pittsburgh. Now they've come back, the only team to ever do it in a 5-game series. And you could really see that the Islanders were getting better. They were getting stronger as the series went on. A lot of the players gaining some strength that they didn't have because of the injuries throughout the regular season. But then I thought that they started to play their game much better in the second game of the series while they did lose it. They looked much more organized, much stronger. Billy Smith seemed to gain a little more of his playoff poise as the series went along. And in the last period here tonight, the third period, he was just some old self all over again, and he was just undaunted. Time and again, Washington did get in and get chances, but they couldn't put it in. And when you think back a little bit, Jiggs, the last time the Islanders beat out the Washington Capitals, the problem they had was that they couldn't score goals. Seems that they still haven't. Maybe it's the goaltending against them.
You look at their season, the goals scored by Carpenter, 53 of them, and Gartner plus 50 as far as goal scoring. You get a little beyond that, there's a lot of workers, and this is no knock against the Washington Capitals. They did get a few goals, but they didn't get the big key clutch goals from anybody else but Carpenter and Gartner over most of the year.
No, that's very true, and you know, you had that kind of a balance. The Islanders learned that very early, that you can't build your team around 1 or 2 lines. You need at least 3, or you have to have 2 extremely good ones to keep the opposition off balance. But what the Islanders have that the Washington Capitals don't have, Jiggs, is a discipline. And that discipline in your own end of the ice is really what made the difference. The Washington Capitals were very vulnerable when the Islanders came to the attack heavily. When Washington came to the attack, the discipline that the Islanders maybe lacked all season long, because as Al Ira would readily say, I didn't have the players I wanted all the time during the regular season. But that particular element came to light here in this series, and they just put a lock on the Washington Capitals, only allowing them 1 goal again here in their home rink. And that just shows you how stingy they can be when they have to be.
The Capitals are still in a building process. Granted, they've been in the National Hockey League since 1974, but they got off to a slow start to the players that they had and the things that they had to go through. And really, you look back at the trade made a couple of years ago with the Montreal Canadiens as the beginning or the laying of a new foundation here in Washington. And they're a young team in that respect. But they certainly have drawn a lot of respect from the Islanders and other teams that they've met this year in the regular season. But they come up just 1 goal short of a tie, 2 short of a win, and lose the series. The final score here tonight is the Islanders 2, the Capitals 1. Now the Islanders get ready to face the Philadelphia Flyers, and we'll talk about those possibilities when we return to the Capitol Center in just a moment.
What are you hurting the most, Jimmy?
Name it. Let's straighten up.
Yeah, we don't want to disappoint your fans.
No.
Hey, Jimmy, good run.
You had him right from the gate.
Your best deserves the best.
Bud Light.
The less filling light beer with a first name and taste.
Hey, Jimmy!
Right.
Don't let anything stand between you and a new Oldsmobile. If there's a mountain between you and a Cutlass Sierra, we'll move it. If there's a river separating you from a Delta 88, we'll part the water. We'll perform miracles to get you a special deal on any new Oldsmobile. Nothing comes between you and a new Olds. Certainly not a few bucks.
From your good old guy.
The New York Islanders 2, the Washington Capitals 1. Your final score of Game 5 of the Patrick Division semifinals. It was that way at the end of the second period. Going to the third, thinking back to the goal by Carpenter and how much momentum it may have brought to the Washington Capitals. They had their chances in the third period, but as you pointed out, they ran into a hot goaltender, as he has been so many times before. Number 31, Bill Smith, came through.
He did, Jiggs, and to show you and give you an example now, there was at least 5 or 6 times in the third period alone that Billy Smith was faced one-on-one with a Washington Capital and obviously made all the saves. We'll take 2 angles of this particular one. Scott Stevens left all alone, just to show you the Islanders can make mistakes, but they don't pay the price that other teams do when they make the same mistake. That's Scott Stevens as he backhanded it. Billy Smith got down in front of it, hit him in the chest.